Picture this. I'm trying to explain geopolitics to my wife, and it's like teaching quantum physics to a cat. I'm laying it all out. The eunuch party, the new party, the whole rotten mess. And Jianxia's sitting there like, but the emperor was a good man. Yes, sure, and I'm the tooth fairy. I hit her with my masterpiece theory, the little ice age. 50 years of climate data I've been tracking. Droughts, floods, freezing winters. The whole planet is throwing a tantrum. I even coined a cool name for it. You'd think she'd be impressed. Instead, she looks at me like I just told her the moon is made of dumplings. So, the new party are the bad guys? She asks. I literally just spent 20 minutes explaining that everyone is the bad guy. The empire is a pressure cooker with the lid welded shut. One spark and boom. Warlords everywhere, blood in the streets. The whole dynasty collapses like a wet noodle. Then she hits me with the ultimate guilt trip. If you're so smart, come to the capital and save the empire. And I'll actually be your real wife? My heart said yes. My brain said, are you insane? Me, walking into that snake pit of court politics? I'd last about 3 days before some minister has me assassinated for suggesting something logical. I can't save an empire that doesn't want to be saved, I told her. But I can build something here in Bailion County that survives what's coming. She called me a coward. A coward. I'm literally preparing for the apocalypse, and she calls me a coward. There's a disaster coming, I warned her. Not just for our empire. All 3 kingdoms are getting wrecked. You need overwhelming military power to survive it. She shut her eyes and pretended to sleep. Classic move. I left the room feeling like I just had an argument with a brick wall that somehow won. And the worst part? The moment I walked out, I guarantee she opened her eyes and went, that traitor just wants to be king of Bailion. Woman, I am trying to keep you alive. Next morning, she packed her bags to leave. Except Red Ant blocked the door. Sorry, ma'am, you can't leave Bailion County right now. Jinxia's face went full thunderstorm. Is that Dogman trying to imprison me and my daughter? Dogman. She called me Dogman. I pour my heart out about the end of civilization and I get promoted from traitor to Dogman. Progress, I guess. Picture this. I'm sitting in my office, sipping tea, going through the annual budget like a responsible county magistrate. Totally normal Tuesday. Chow the advisor reads out the numbers. Sir, the International Trade Conference brought in 67 million silver taels. Everyone starts clapping like we just won the lottery. Which, honestly, we kind of did. That's 3 years of the entire empire's tax revenue. In one event. Calm down, I said, blowing tea foam off my cup like a boss. Let's not celebrate until we hit 100 million a year. Then the budget fight started, and oh boy. Wang Dabiao from the infantry slams his fist. We need 10,000 more soldiers. Guer Mao from the cavalry nearly chokes. You already have the most people. What about MY horses? The saber unit guy jumps in. We're the cavalry killer. We should get the money. These grown military commanders are screaming at each other with cigarettes hanging from their lips, spit flying everywhere. My county government meetings look exactly like a bandit hideout, and I've made peace with that. Then Xia Hongmei from the medical corps drops the mic. We have 500 medics and 7 surgeons for the entire army. Instant ceasefire. Every single commander went. Yeah, actually she's right. Give her the money. Funny how nobody argues with the woman who stitches you back together after battle. I handed out the budgets. 14 million for the military. 15 million for schools, roads, farms, and construction. 500 million for myself. Look, I've given myself a raise 5 years in a row, okay? I have a wife and daughter now. A man's gotta eat. The rest went into research and development because I'm building the future here. I was already daydreaming about next year's salary. 8 million taels, plus dividends, making me a certified ancient Chinese millionaire playboy when I noticed everyone staring at me. Then Chow the advisor walked to the center of the hall and dropped to his knees. Then everyone dropped to their knees. My stomach immediately did a backflip. Nothing good ever follows mass kneeling. Boss, Chow said, tears in his eyes, Bailion County is basically its own country now. The people are fed, the army is strong, the children are educated. You built heaven on earth. 5 years ago you told me, build high walls, store deep grain. I knew there was a part you left out, delay claiming the throne. Well, sir, the delay is over. Before I could even open my mouth, he screamed. Please, Sir, become emperor, become emperor. Everyone roared. I'm sorry, what? Old Chow, Are you trying to get me killed? But nobody listened. The Xia sisters materialized a dragon robe out of thin air. Where were they hiding that thing? And draped it over my shoulders like this was a rehearsed Broadway show. Your Majesty, they bowed. All hail His Majesty. The room thundered. I'm standing there wearing a dragon robe I did not ask for, mouth hanging open like a fish, brain completely short-circuited. And that's when I see her, Jinxia, standing in the doorway, holding our daughter, lips pressed together, eyes locked on me, wearing a dragon robe. You know that feeling when your wife catches you doing the one thing you swore you weren't doing? Yesterday, I'm not trying to be king of Baelyang. I'm just a humble county magistrate. Today, standing in a dragon robe while 50 people scream, "All hail the Emperor," I slapped my own thigh so hard it echoed. You people have ruined me. Old Chow is on his knees thinking I'm being humble. This man literally believes I'm doing the classic, "Oh no, I couldn't possibly be Emperor. Please insist harder," routine. 5 years he's been waiting for this moment. In his head, he's already writing his memoir, how I became the greatest kingmaker in history. Meanwhile, I'm standing there in a dragon robe I didn't order, watching my wife's face turn into a murder weapon. "Please ascend the throne." Everyone screams again. Ma Sambao loses it first. "You traitor. The robe is literally on your body. What's your excuse now?" Fair point, honestly. Hard to claim innocence when you're dressed like the emperor at a coronation you didn't plan. Jinxia's eyes could freeze lava. I knew it. Dogman wants to be a rebel king. I chased after her. "Jinxia, listen to me. I had no idea they were going to. Every single thing you do proves you're lying to me. You don't want to serve the country. You want to replace it. Just let me explain. Lu Yuan, if you scare our daughter, I will hate you forever." I looked at Huan Huan trembling in her arms and swallowed every word I had left. I ordered 5,000 soldiers, infantry, cavalry, musketeers, to escort them safely to the capital. "I don't want your soldiers. They make me sick." Then she spotted Zhao Ji and Zhang Wei standing nearby looking like they wanted to evaporate. "What did you do to my sister?" Zhao Ji whispered. Zhang Wei leaned in. "Brother Lu, even if this is your turf, you can't just force things, right? These two absolute morons think I did something inappropriate. I'm standing here getting emotionally destroyed, and they think I'm the villain." Jinxia put Huan Huan on the ground. "You don't want to leave? Fine. Stay here. Pretend I never gave birth to you." My baby girl grabbed her mother's clothes, sobbing. "Mommy, no. Please, don't leave me." My heart shattered into approximately 10,000 pieces. I picked up my terrified daughter and tried one last time. "Jinxia, please think about what I said last night. The Empire is terminally ill. Even with the strongest medicine, there's maybe a 30% chance. Are you trying to recruit me into your rebellion?" She laughed like a crazy person. "Could have been a good man, but Inolo had to be a traitor. Having a daughter with you is the greatest shame of my entire life." Something inside me snapped. 5 years. 5 years I waited for this woman. Raised our daughter alone. Built a paradise from nothing. And she calls my child, our child, her shame? "Fine," I said, and my voice went cold. "You're so noble. You're so loyal. Only I'm the villain, right? You think just because your family name is Zhao, this country belongs to you?" News flash. The common people don't care who sits on the throne. They care about who feeds them, who keeps them safe, who gives their kids a future. Your precious Empress? If she were really a savior, she wouldn't keep making stupid decisions. Baelyang County didn't become great because of the imperial court. It became great despite the imperial court. You want to go back and die for a sinking ship? I can't stop you. But our daughter is small. She hasn't seen the beautiful things in this world yet. Leave her with me. You think she's your shame? To me, she's my greatest treasure. You don't love her? I'll love her enough for both of us. Yes, I owe you. But that does not mean you get to stomp all over my dignity like a doormat. We're both living life for the first time, Jinxia. Take care of yourself." I picked up my shaking little girl, climbed into the carriage, and ordered the gates opened. 5 years of waiting. 5 years of hoping. And it ends with me escorting the woman I wronged out of my city, holding the daughter she called her shame, knowing she'll probably never come back. You want to know the worst part? Old Chow is probably still kneeling in the hall, wondering why nobody came back to finish the coronation. Inside the carriage, my little girl is burying her face in my chest, sobbing her eyes out. "Daddy, I don't want to leave you. But I can't leave mommy either. Those bad people will bully her. I promised I'd protect her. Kid, you're 5. You can barely protect your stuffed animals. But hearing this absolutely destroyed me. Daddy will send people to protect mommy, okay? But Daddy, why can't you just come with us? Because Daddy has a lot of important people to protect back home. Okay. But Daddy, don't be mad at mommy. She's really sad. Sometimes when she thinks I'm sleeping, she cries by herself. Great. Now I'm about to cry. This tiny human is emotionally more mature than both her parents combined. Meanwhile, in the other carriage, Ma Sambao is having a meltdown. Your Majesty, please don't anger that maniac. If he changes his mind and locks us up, Jinxia scoffed. He wouldn't dare. He knows I'd stab him in his sleep. Okay, but can we at least take his money? We came all this way. His silver is right there. Think of it as robbing the rich to feed the poor. I don't want his dirty money. Ma Sambao is literally begging the Empress to commit theft, and she's refusing on moral grounds. This is the most dysfunctional political operation in history. Then Jinxia dropped a bomb on poor Ma Sambao. Tell me the truth. Did my father deliberately create the eunuch party to fight the new party? Ma Sanbao's face went white. Why are you suddenly asking about? Yes or a no? Yes. Boom. That dogman Lu Yuan was right about everything. Her father, the beloved emperor, spent 15 years not attending court. Not because he was sick, but because those ministers literally wouldn't let him govern. His orders couldn't even leave the palace walls. He pretended to be obsessed with immortality potions just to trick them into ignoring him, while he secretly built up the eunuch faction as a counterweight. So everything they told me, greatest empress in history, brilliant ruler, it was all just flattery to keep me obedient. Ma Sambao hit the floor. Your Majesty, don't lose hope. You're still the empire's best chance. But something shifted in her eyes. Instead of breaking, she got sharper. No, I'm more motivated now. My father couldn't save this dynasty. I will. Then she added, and I'm not leaving my daughter with that criminal. She came from my body. The hardest 5 years are behind me. From now on, we depend on nobody. Respect, honestly. Terrifying, but respect. 3 hours later, we reached Bailiang Pass. Home stretch. Just open the gate. Let them through. Done. Except the gate didn't open. Instead, the walls were packed with fully armed soldiers pointing weapons at us. Halt. This is the Great Qian's Bailiang Pass. Turn back or die. Zhang Wei jumped out of his carriage. Sun Erlingzi. You idiot. It's me. Your general. Open the damn gate. The soldier on the wall squinted down. Lies. Our General Zhang is safely inside the fortress. Imposter. Archers, kill him. 100 arrows came screaming down like angry rain. Your mother. Zhang Wei dove back into the steel-reinforced carriage just in time. Arrows bounced off the walls like hailstones. My brain caught up real fast. Somebody took over the fortress. While Zhang Wei was away at MY Trade Conference, some backstabbing snakes stole his entire command. Fall back. 100 meters. Now, I shouted. 5,000 of my soldiers pulled back in perfect formation while arrows kept raining. Zhang Wei was screaming from inside his carriage. Liu Yong. Suhai. You turtle sons, get out here. Yeah, buddy, I don't think your subordinates are taking calls right now. They're a little busy committing treason. So let me recap my day. Morning. Got ambushed with a dragon rogue coronation I didn't ask for. Afternoon. Got called a traitor, a dogman, and a shame to motherhood. Evening. The one fortress connecting my county to the empire just got hijacked. And somewhere in all of this, my 5-year-old daughter is still the most emotionally stable person in my life. Everything went sideways fast. Arrows are raining from the sky. The merchant caravan is running around like headless chickens, and Zhao Ji nearly got shish kebabbed by an arrow that flew through his carriage window. 2 centimeters to the left, and the prince becomes a pincushion. Zhang Wei is standing there looking like his entire career just flashed before his eyes. His own fortress just tried to assassinate him. In front of the Empress. On my watch. The man's face is the color of expired tofu. I handed Huan to Jinxia. Take the kid. This is about to get ugly. I'm not leaving, she said. Oh great. Now she wants to stay. When I offer her safety and comfort in Bailiang, she runs. When there's a literal war zone, she plants her feet. This woman's survival instincts are backwards. Fine, stay. But sit in the back and be quiet. If you mess up my operation, I don't care if you're the Queen of England. I will yell at you." She bit her lip, but actually listened. Then, credit where it's due, she started organizing the panicking civilians into an orderly retreat. Okay, maybe not completely useless. Up on the wall, the masterminds behind this genius coup are having their own problems. Liu Yong slapped his idiot subordinate son Erlingzi upside the head. "Why did you announce we were going to shoot him? You're supposed to use a sneak attack, you absolute walnut." The whole point was to catch Zhang Wei off guard. Beautiful. The traitors can't even betray properly. Then Liu Yong and Su Hai put their two remaining brain cells together and decided, we have to attack now. If those Bailiang soldiers go home and come back with reinforcements, we're dead. Their brilliant plan? Capture us, take hostages, then negotiate with me for weapons. Buddy, you want to negotiate with the guy who builds the weapons? That's like robbing a gun store with a water pistol. Liu Yong started screaming from the wall. Bailiang County is just a tiny border town with 2,000 people. Where do you even get this army? 2,000 people. He thinks I have 2,000 people. This man's intelligence reports are from 5 years ago. My county has more soldiers than his entire brain has neurons. Then came the big guns. Literally. 1,000 bull crossbow ready. A bolt the size of a javelin launched off the wall. This thing didn't just hit a man, it went through him. And then through 3 more people behind him. Like a kebab skewer from hell. Screams everywhere. Zhang Wei is howling death threats at Liu Yong's entire family tree. Fall back 300 more meters, I yelled. Those crossbows can reach 500 meters. Terrifying range. Lucky for us, they're slow to reload, expensive to maintain, and the bowstrings snap like old rubber bands. But still, getting hit by one is like being punched by a telephone pole. I got my infantry to raise shields and form a wall while the civilians scrambled to safety. Arrows bouncing off steel like a very angry percussion concert. Once everyone was clear, I turned to Zhang Wei. Brother Zhang, you cool if I kill Liu Yong? Please kill Liu Yong. Done. But I need you to trace whoever's pulling his strings. Liu Yong and Su Hai are just puppets. Those 2 clowns don't have the guts to stage a coup on their own. Someone's behind this. Zhang Wei nodded grimly. You have my word. I smiled. Then I gave Eagle Eye the signal. Send the message. Execute Liu Yong and Su Hai. See, here's what Liu Yong doesn't know. While he's up there playing general with his cute little crossbows and boiling oil, I've had agents inside that fortress for years. He thinks he's the wolf. He's actually the sheep who just locked himself in a cage with my wolves. Those 2 idiots aren't traitors. They're chicken and clay toys. One flick and they crumble. And they're about to find out what happens when toys pick a fight with the toy maker. Zhang Wei pulled me aside, looking worried. Brother, I trust you, but that wall is 30 meters tall, 6 meters thick, and there are 150,000 soldiers inside. We have 5,000 guys and 0 siege equipment. I smiled. Who said anything about siege equipment? Zhang Wei blinked. Then wisely stopped asking questions. Smart man. Then Jianxiao marched over. Oh good, the military strategist is here. Retreat to Bailiang County. It'll be dark in 2 hours. We can't stay here. Can't retreat. The barbarians are moving out there. The merchants are exhausted. The horses are tired. And we'd be sitting ducks on a night road. The only safe place is through that gate. You're insane. You can't break through Bailiang Pass with 5,000 men. That wall has survived everything for a century. There are 150,000 soldiers in there. Just leave 2,000 as a rear guard and evacuate everyone else. Look, she's not wrong in a textbook sense. Classic military doctrine says you need 10-to-1 odds for a siege. But classic military doctrine also doesn't account for me. Jinxia, war is men's business. Go stand over there and stop undermining my authority in front of my troops. Then I grabbed her collar. If anyone else pulled this stunt on my battlefield, man or woman, I'd have already cut their head off. I let go and walked away. Behind me, I could practically hear her blood pressure breaking records. You arrogant maniac. If it weren't for Huan, I wouldn't care if you died. Good intentions treated like garbage. When night falls, don't come crying to me. Red Ant stepped in to do damage control. God bless that woman. Ma'am, trust the boss. He's never done anything without a plan. We've survived dozens of crises worse than this. And right now, you and your daughter are here. You really think he'd gamble with your lives? He's more cautious because of you. Not less. He's just an arrogant tyrant, ma'am. He could have any woman in Bailiang County. Princesses have literally offered themselves to him. He turned them all down. You're the only person I've ever seen him humble himself for. And you just challenged his command in front of his entire army. Every person here would die for him. They respect you only because you're his. So maybe, just maybe, don't call the man who adores you a fraud. Jinxiao went quiet. Then muttered, he's still stubborn and reckless, and you're unreasonable. Red Ant huffed and walked away. Meanwhile, I sent the signal. Fireworks shot into the sky. Pretty colors. Very festive. Definitely not a secret assassination order. I lit a cigarette and leaned back. Now we watched the show. Up on the wall, Lu Yong was having a completely different experience. They're retreating. We have to chase them. Suhai was jumping up and down like a kid who found candy. Sir, I saw him through the telescope. That's Lu Yuan down there. If we capture Lu Yuan, everything he is becomes ours. The weapons, the money, the territory. Lu Yong started hyperventilating with greed. What are we waiting for? All units, charge. Yes. Yes. Come out of your nice safe fortress, you beautiful idiots. Leave the 30-meter walls that are the only reason you're still breathing, and charge at my soldiers in an open field. This is like watching a mouse voluntarily walk into a mousetrap because someone told him the cheese was really expensive. But then a soldier ran up to Lu Yong. Sir? Traitors inside are trying to open the gates for the enemy. Lu Yong's face went from panic to delight. Perfect. I knew Zhang Wei planted agents. Now I can root them all out. Oh, buddy. Those aren't Zhang Wei's agents. Those are mine. You're not rooting out anything. You're a chicken trying to investigate why the foxes are inside the henhouse. I took another drag of my cigarette and waited. Up on the wall, Lu Yong pointed at Zhou Peng and barked, What are you standing around for? Lead the way. Zhou Peng looked at Lu Yong the way you look at a bug you're about to step on. Suhai's brain caught up half a second too late. No, the good was still stuck in his throat when Zhou Peng's blade flashed and Lu Yong's head just left his body, like it had somewhere better to be. Blood fountained from the neck like the world's worst sprinkler system, painting Suhai's face red. Suhai screamed and tried to run. He made it exactly 0 steps before another blade separated his head from the rest of him. It rolled across the ground like a sad, confused bowling ball. Zhou Peng, my guy, been sleeping inside that fortress for years waiting for exactly this moment, picked up Lu Yong's head and held it high. The mouth was still moving. The eyes still looked around. Absolutely nightmare fuel, but very effective presentation. Brothers, the traitors are dead. Zhang Wei is right outside. Anyone who keeps fighting is choosing to die for 2 headless idiots. Drop your weapons and nobody gets punished. Sun Erlangzi, the same genius who ruined the ambush by literally announcing it, was the first to throw down his weapon. Clang, clang, clang. One by one, 150,000 soldiers decided that dying for 2 decapitated morons wasn't in their career plan. Zhang Wei grabbed my arm, eyes like dinner plates. Brother, they stopped. What happened? I smiled. We won. We won? Just like that? How? Then Zhou Peng's voice boomed from the wall. General Zhang, Lu Yong, and Su Hai are dead. Awaiting your orders. Zhang Wei stared at me like I just pulled a rabbit out of a volcano. You had people inside this whole time? I mean, obviously. What kind of neighbor doesn't have secret agents embedded in the fortress next door? That's just common sense. Jianxia stormed over, eyebrows doing angry calligraphy. Could this be a trap? I've met both of them. I can recognize their heads even when they're not attached to their bodies. I ordered the gates opened, both gates, inner and outer. Because when you've already won, you might as well be dramatic about it. The gates swung wide. My soldiers marched in. Crisis over. Total elapsed time, 1 cigarette. I turned to Jin Xiao with my most punchable grin. See? I told you we'd get in. Didn't lie. She looked like she wanted to bite me. Actually bite me. With teeth. Lu Yuan, your reach is terrifying. You have agents inside Bailiang Pass. Zhou Peng, Sun Erlangzi, they're all yours, aren't they? Some things are better left unsaid. Keeps it less awkward for everyone. She stamped her foot. Dog man. You think solving 1 crisis means I'll forgive you? If you can plant agents here, you'll plant them in the capital next. I mean, she's not wrong. But a gentleman never confirms nor denies his espionage network. Once everyone was safe inside the fortress, I handed Huan to her mother. Zhang Wei, I'm leaving these people with you. I need to get back to Bailiang County. Jinxiao's head snapped up. It's almost dark. What if you run into barbarians? Wait, are you worried about me? Her face went through 17 emotions in 2 seconds. I'm worried about your soldiers making sacrifices because of your stupid decisions. Sure, Jinxia. Sure. Zhang Wei, Zhao Ji, even little Huan Huan all begged me to stay one night. My daughter wrapped her arms around my neck like a baby koala and wouldn't let go. Then Jinxia said something that actually stopped me cold. Lu Yuan, this might be the last time we ever see each other. Stay one more night. Give your daughter a happy memory. Are you asking me to stay? Every single person turned to look at her, the Empress of the entire kingdom, practically asking the rebel county lord to spend the night. Her face turned pink, but she didn't deny it. My heart did something stupid and warm. This goodbye isn't forever, I said. It's just a pause. You have your mission. I have mine. Time will prove everything I said. And when that day comes, I'm coming to get you. And if you won't come willingly, I'll carry you back to Baelyang. I kissed my daughter's forehead. I didn't force her to stay with me. She's 5, and she's already braver than most adults I know. She puffed out her tiny chest like a little general. Daddy, don't worry. While you're gone, I'll protect Mommy for you. Kid weighs 30 pounds, and she's volunteering for Imperial bodyguard duty. I climbed onto my horse before my eyes could betray me, turned toward the dark road home, and rode. Behind me, I left the woman who calls me Dog Man, the daughter who thinks she's a warrior, and a fortress full of soldiers who just learned that the small border county next door has been playing chess with their entire military for years. Not my worst Tuesday, but close. I squeezed Huan Huan's little nose one last time. Daddy believes in you, soldier. Then I handed her to Ma Sanbao and whispered in his ear, if things ever get truly desperate, go to Sweet Wine Alley on Clearwater Street. Find a blind fortune teller named Chun. He'll help you no matter what. Lu Yuan, you, don't tell Jinxia. You know her temper. I winked, said my goodbyes, climbed on my horse, and rode into the darkness without looking back. Because if I looked back, I wasn't leaving. Made it home safely. No barbarians, no ambushes, no drama. Just me and the empty road and my thoughts. Walked into my bedroom. No Huan Huan. No Jinxia. Just silence. And her smell still on the blankets. I flopped face down on the bed and grabbed the sheets like a pathetic idiot. Red Ant came in to tell me my bath was ready, but I was already unconscious. Out cold. Done. Emotionally and physically bankrupt. Apparently, while I was sleeping, Red Ant got brave. From what I'm told, and I heard this later, she snuck over to my sleeping face and, well, let's just say she got very close. Close enough that her heart was jumping into her throat. Then Liusu appeared from the shadows like a gossip ninja. Red Ant's sister. I saw everything. Red Ant's face turned into a tomato. But credit to her, she didn't back down. So what? I want to warm the boss's bed. I want to have his babies. You telling me you don't? Liusu wisely changed the subject. These women, I swear. I'm lying there unconscious, emotionally devastated, clutching blankets that smell like my estranged wife, and they're having a reproduction debate 3 feet from my head. Next morning, Red Ant told me Liusu left during the night. Good. I'd sent her on a secret mission. Protect Jinxia and Huan Huan from the shadows, and bring my family from the capital to Baelyang. Oh right, I have a family back there. Parents. A brother. A sister. My old man was a 5th-rank official who got demoted to warehouse janitor because he had the audacity to speak honestly. And they didn't just punish him. They sent me to Baelyang County, which at the time was basically a death sentence with a desk. But look at me now, county lord of the most powerful territory on the continent. Funny how attempted murder via job assignment can backfire. Time to bring everyone home. Let the world burn. My family is going to be comfortable while it does. Sir, Princess Xia Ning requests an audience. Oh, for the love of... I walked into the hall, and there she was. Sitting pretty. Wearing a Baelyang County JK skirt. Tiny waist. Black stockings. Legs that go on for approximately 7 business days. This woman raided my county's fashion district to seduce me. That's commitment. Terrifying, inappropriate commitment. Do I look pretty today, Lu Yuan Gidge? She wrapped her arms around my neck and SAT on my lap. It is 7 in the morning. 7. In. The. Morning. My body. Enthusiastic response my brain. Abort, abort, abort. Get OFF. No. Let me be your little sidekick. Since you won't accept the imperial decree, I'll just stay here forever. And oh. Go home to your empire. Stop bothering me. But you embarrassed me in front of everyone at the conference. Don't you owe me some compensation? She grabbed my hand and placed it on her black stocking-covered thigh. My brain experienced a brief power outage. If you want to be thirsty, go be thirsty outside. Not in my office, she pouted. Are you made of stone? I'm literally throwing myself at you. I gave her the death stare. Fine, I'll talk. She bit her lip. Lu Yuan Gij, can you do me a favor? Please don't attack the barbarian tribes. Record scratch. Hold on. Princess Legs for Days didn't come here to seduce me. She came here to lobby me. The stockings, the skirt, the lap sitting. It's all foreign policy wrapped in lingerie. Every woman in my life is either trying to save an empire, steal an empire, or stop me from conquering one. And I haven't even had breakfast yet. This is non-negotiable, I said, and shoved Xia Ning off my lap. She landed on her, but with a yelp. The barbarians die. Their land becomes my second city. End of discussion. She scrambled onto her knees and pressed herself against my legs, crushing her assets into pancakes against my thigh. Lu Yuan Gij, what if I make the barbarians move away? Then you don't have to fight them. So the barbarians joined your empire. You're so smart, Gij. She gazed up at me with sparkly eyes. How about you marry me, and I'll make the barbarians surrender to Baelyong instead? In your dreams. I stood up. Listen carefully. Any empire that takes in those barbarians is declaring war on me. Those are my free laborers. Steal them, and I'll start kidnapping your citizens as replacements. You're so mean, she pouted. Then immediately added, but I love that about you. What do I do? You're a masochist, I told her. She left in a huff, swearing she'd make me marry her someday. Yeah, get in line, princess. Literally 2 minutes later, Li Wuyo walked in wearing the newest bunny girl outfit from my county's fashion line. Same request. Please don't attack the barbarians. Same answer. No. Get out. 2 princesses from 2 different empires, back to back. Both dressed in My County's sexy clothing. Both begging me to spare the same barbarian tribe. My life is a circus, and I'm somehow both the ringmaster and the clown. I was finally about to eat breakfast when Red Ant casually mentioned, oh, Chow and the others have been kneeling outside since dawn. Right. The coronation gang. I forgot about those idiots. Send them in. They shuffled in and immediately face-planted on the floor. Good morning, boss. Don't good morning me. Explain yesterday. Whose idea was the dragon robe stunt? Old Chow stepped forward. It was all me, sir. Punish me alone. Wang Dabiao. No, punish me. Go Mao. It was my fault. Suddenly, everyone's fighting over who gets executed. These people compete about everything. Shut up. I slammed my teacup on the table. Everyone froze. I know you meant well, but your timing was garbage. The chaos hasn't fully started yet. If I declare myself emperor now, what does Zhang Wei think? What do his 150,000 soldiers think? The court finds out about Baelyong, and they'll throw everything they have at us before we're ready. We've done well. We're strong. But we are not strong enough to crush all 3 empires yet. The day Baelyong County can grind every nation into the dirt, that day, I won't just accept your offer. I'll throw myself a coronation party with fireworks. Old Chow's eyes lit up. Sir, you're not angry that we asked you to be emperor. You're angry we asked too early. Obviously, every face in the room went from terrified to overjoyed in 1 second flat. Let me be crystal clear, I said. Baelyong County has been committing treason for years. If the Empire ever calls on us to fight their wars for them, would any of you actually go? Wang Dabiao didn't even hesitate. Hell no. The Empire lets people starve. In the central provinces, parents are eating their own children. I'd rather defect than fight for those monsters. We only follow you, boss. Nobody else. Old Chow dropped to his knees again. From the day I met you, I swore I'd help you conquer the world. If I ever break that oath, may I die the ugliest death imaginable. I looked at these beautiful idiots. Every single one handpicked by me. Loyal to the bone. My people. Then let me promise you something. I'm not Song Jiang. Everyone exhaled at once. They'd all read Water Margin, my publishing company's bestseller across all 3 empires. And every single one of them hated how Song Jiang sold out his brothers for a government pardon. That book hit too close to home in this world. I will never sell out my brothers. That's my oath. Long live the boss. Red Ant was smiling in the corner, staring at me with those puppy eyes again. Woman, Please, I just emotionally survived 2 princesses and an almost coronation. Give me 5 minutes. Now, I said, getting down to business. 2 things. First, we're destroying the barbarian tribes and taking their territory. Second, we're building a second city on that land. The central provinces are in drought. Millions of refugees with nowhere to go. That's not just a tragedy, that's an opportunity. Every refugee we feed becomes a citizen. Every citizen makes us stronger. Give me 5 million people, and I'll steamroll this entire planet. Jinxia actually gave me this idea without knowing it. She was worried about refugees flooding the capital? Cool. I'll have Liusu quietly redirect them toward Bailiang instead. 1 bowl of rice buys you a lifetime of loyalty from a starving man. I haven't even had breakfast, and I've already rejected 2 princesses, forgiven a mutiny, planned a genocide, designed a new city, and launched a refugee recruitment program. Just another morning in Bailiang County. Everyone was drooling over the second city plan like kids in a candy store. Boss, can I lead the attack? Wang Dabiao was practically vibrating. Know me. If I fail, you can have my head, Gu Ermao screamed. The Saber unit should go. These maniacs fight over everything. Budget meetings? Fight. Coronations? Fight. War assignments? Fight. I'm running a military or a kindergarten. Honestly can't tell anymore. I laid out the plan on the map. The barbarian territory is 50 miles away. Between us and them, pure flat farmland. Once we develop it, that's food for another 200,000 to 300,000 people. We crush the barbarians, build the second city on their land, use it as a hub for refugees and trade. Everyone was practically foaming at the mouth with excitement. 20,000 troops. You have 1 day to prepare. We attack tonight. And keep your mouth shut about it. By sunrise tomorrow, I want victory. Yes, SIR. Evening came. Curfew in Bailiang is 11 p.m. in summer. People were sleeping peacefully when 20,000 soldiers started marching through the streets. Windows popped open everywhere. 1 old man threw on a coat. Wife, wake up the boys. If barbarians are coming, we're hauling supplies to the walls. Wang Dabiao passed by. Relax, Grandpa. Night training exercise. Oh, night training. Sorry, boys. Carry on. Windows closed. Doors shut. Everyone went back to sleep. My people are so used to military drills that 20,000 armed soldiers marching through town at midnight barely gets a yawn. I love this county. I stood at the gate and watched every single squad pass through. Come back safe, brothers. Protect yourselves. Protect each other. Every soldier who heard me stood a little straighter. That's not leadership textbook stuff. That's just being human. After they were gone, old Chow suggested I sleep. Nope. I'm waiting right here until they come home. I climbed the watchtower, pulled out a pen, and started writing. Another chapter of Young Magistrate Ayun. Boss? Old Chow asked. New book. Romance of the Three Kingdoms. I grinned. Obviously, I'm rewriting it with some creative liberties. This version might accidentally feature a suspiciously handsome county lord and a certain female emperor who calls him Dogman. Pure coincidence. Old Chow was already daydreaming about the plot. Red Ant sat across from me, chin in her hands, staring at me like I was the main character of her novel. And old Chow had his nose buried in the latest chapter of my previous bestseller. 1 guy writing, 1 guy reading, 1 woman simping. Quite the literary evening on the watchtower. Meanwhile, 50 miles away, the barbarian chief Two-Man was dying. His sons Wusun and Yeshin knelt beside his bed. The old man's hands were cold as ice. His last act as chief was supposed to be naming his successor. Father, just hold on. We sent messengers for help. If we survive a few months, we can't fight them head-on, Two-Man wheezed. Either we flee, or we surrender to Bailiang. Fake surrender. By time, when reinforcements arrive, we strike back. Classic barbarian strategy. Pretend to submit, secretly plot revenge. Very original. Never seen that go wrong before. Yeshin was puffing his chest. Father, I'll lead the tribe to glory. Two-Man completely ignored him. Looked straight at Wusun instead. My son, you will lead our people out of this crisis, won't you? Yeshin's face was priceless. Getting passed over for succession in real time while your dying father pretends you're furniture. Brutal. Everyone listen, Two-Man rasped. From this moment, Wusun is your new, and right at that exact moment. Because I have impeccable dramatic timing even when I'm not personally present. A scream tore through the night. Enemy attack. Then came the thunder. Hooves. Gunshots. Chaos. 20,000 of my finest, arriving at the barbarian doorstep at the exact second their chief was mid-sentence naming a successor. I didn't plan that timing, but I'm absolutely going to take credit for it. Back on my watchtower, I lit another cigarette and turned to a fresh page. Chapter 1. The Peach Garden Oath. I wasn't there personally, but my boys gave me the play-by-play, and honestly, it was better than any novel I could write. And I write bestsellers. So the barbarian chief two-man was literally on his deathbed, grabbing Wusun's hand, wheezing out his last words. Wusun shall be the new head wolf, and my army kicked in the door at exactly that moment. Mid-sentence. The old man died without finishing. Didn't even get to close his eyes. Worst timing of his life, best timing of mine. Then Yexian, the other son, the one who wasn't picked, heard what his dad said, and his brain went, nah, I heard wrong. He definitely said me. This absolute psychopath grabbed his sword and announced to everyone, Father chose me as head wolf. Follow me into battle. Bro straight up forged his dying father's will while the body was still warm. In the middle of an attack. Multitasking villain energy. Wusun was fuming. That lying piece of, whatever, let him charge first, we'll clean up after. So both sons ran out of the tent to fight, leaving their dead father alone on the bed, eyes still open, probably thinking, I raised idiots. What they saw outside ended all that bravado real quick. The sky was on fire. My boys launched so many fire arrows it looked like sunrise came early. Tents were exploding into flames left and right. People were running out of burning shelters, literally on fire, rolling on the ground screaming. Yexian took one look at this apocalypse and went, yeah, no. He spun his horse around and ran. The guy who just declared himself supreme leader of the barbarian nation lasted approximately 45 seconds before choosing maximum velocity retreat. Wusun saw Yexian fleeing and screamed, Yexian, where are you going? But Yexian was already a dot on the horizon. That man's horse must have felt his cowardice because it was running faster than any horse has ever run in history. That's it. I trusted those two princesses to negotiate, and they were useless. Yexian was screaming as he fled. Yeah, buddy, blame the princesses. Not the fact that you're galloping away from your own people at Mach 3. Wusun tried to rally troops, but Yexian had already taken most of the elite cavalry with him. Because of course the fake head wolf grabbed all the good soldiers for his personal escape party. Fine. We run to the great scenery empire. Wusun whipped his horse and bolted in the opposite direction from his brother. One brother ran east. One ran west. The barbarian nation split in half in under 10 minutes. Not by strategy, not by civil war, by competitive cowardice. They were literally racing each other to see who could abandon their people fastest. Meanwhile, my boys were having the time of their lives. Eagle Eye was swinging his spiked mace like a blender, crushing skulls left and right, his black armor painted in things I won't describe while you're eating. This is great, he kept screaming. That man needs therapy, but after the battle, Gu Ermao's heavy cavalry plowed straight through the entire camp like a bowling ball through tissue paper. Zheng Liujin's saber unit flanked the barbarian cavalry and just cut them in half. Horses and riders. One swing. Clean through. The sabers were so sharp that some guys didn't even realize they'd been cut until they tried to turn around, and their top half went one way and their bottom half went the other. Wang Dabiao charged into the golden tent expecting a boss fight, and found a cold corpse. Are you kidding me? He's already dead, never one to waste a dramatic opportunity. He chopped off Tumen's head anyway, stuck it on the barbarian wolf banner, and paraded it through the battlefield. Tumen is dead. Surrender or die. Tumen is dead. Surrender or die. 20,000 voices echoed. Every barbarian still fighting just deflated. Like someone unplugged them. They collapsed to the ground, weapons clattering. The regular soldiers didn't even know their chief had died of illness. They thought MY guys killed him. And with both princes gone, who were they fighting for? Wang Dabiao had to physically restrain Eagle Eye from massacring surrendered prisoners. Stop killing them. They're free labor now. You smash all of them. Who's gonna build our second city? Eagle Eye lowered his mace, disappointed. Fine. But where'd those two cowards run to? One ran to the Xia Empire. One ran to the Scenery Empire. Those empires dared take them in? After the boss specifically warned them, Eagle Eye threw his mace over his shoulder and jumped on his horse. I'm going to smash their gates down. Eagle Eye, wait. Too late. He was already galloping toward the border, one angry man with a mace versus an entire empire's border defense. Back on my watchtower, I finished Chapter 1 of Romance of the Three Kingdoms, sipped my tea, and watched the eastern sky start to glow. Sunrise soon. My boy should be wrapping up right about now. Red Ant was asleep at the table. Old Chow was snoring with my novel still open on his chest. Just another quiet night at home, while 20,000 soldiers reshaped the geopolitical landscape 50 miles away. I started Chapter 2. My boys told me everything that happened after the battle, and I nearly choked on my tea laughing. So Eagle Eye was about to single-handedly invade the Xia Empire because they might take in the barbarian refugees. One angry man with a mace versus an entire nation's border defense. Guer Mao had to physically block his horse. Relax. If those empires are dumb enough to take them in, we'll deal with it later. Eagle Eye sat down, pulled out beef jerky, and stress ate in furious silence. That man has two modes, violence and snacking. Meanwhile, the comedy show at the border gates was magnificent. Yexian galloped up to the Xia Empire's fortress at 2 in the morning, banging on the door like a drunk neighbor. General Chun. It's me, Yexian. Open up. General Chun, woken from a dead sleep. What the hell are you doing here at this hour? Did you come to wake me up to pee? I'm defecting to your empire. Let me in. Who defects at 2 a.m.? You think I'm stupid? Chin's deputy leaned over. Sir, I think he got chased out of his homeland. Chin stroked his beard. Probably lost the succession fight to his brother. If you don't open this door, I'm going to the Scenery Empire instead. Go ahead. We're not opening. Why not? The deputy whispered the magic words. Sir, remember our business deals with Baelyang? The dividends? The trade profits? You really want to lose all that over some homeless barbarians? Chin's brain, calculating revenue loss. Yeah, no, we're not opening. Yexian buddy, I can't help you. Try the Scenery Empire. Good luck. Chin Yuan, I will use your skull as a chamber pot. Cool story. Archers, arrows rained down. Yexian ran away screaming death threats into the darkness. On the other side of the map, Wusun was having the exact same experience at the Scenery Empire's gate. Said every nice thing he could think of. Begged. Pleaded. Offered everything. Gate stayed shut. My warning worked perfectly. Both empires did the math. Barbarian refugees versus business relationship with Baelyang County. The barbarians lost by approximately 10 million taels. I love capitalism. Eventually, as dawn approached, the two brothers bumped into each other on the road between the two empires they'd just been rejected from. Picture it. Two princes, each leading their band of exhausted cavalry, staring at each other in the gray morning light, both covered in dust and shame. Yexian sneered. What? The Scenery Empire wouldn't take you. Wusun smirked back. And the Xia Empire kicked you out too. Long silence. 200 years of barbarian supremacy, reduced to two guys standing in a field with nowhere to go, rejected by everyone, arguing about who got rejected harder. So what now? Yexian asked. Fight our way out, surrounded on all sides. Fight where? Those cowards took our weapons and gifts and still refused us. I gave them flintlock rifles, grenades, and there's a saying in Baelyang County, Wusun interrupted. Those who read the situation are the real heroes. Father was right. We surrender. We stay alive. We wait for the reinforcements from our mother tribe. Then we pay back everything. Yexian went quiet. For once in his life, he wasn't arguing. 20,000 barbarian cavalry. In any other context, that's a terrifying military force. Right now, they're a very large group of homeless people with horses. Then Yexian leaned in close. What if we fake surrender? We couldn't break Baelyang from the outside. But from the inside, Wusun's eyes lit up. Now you're thinking. We play nice. We bow. We do their labor. And when the moment comes, oh boys, you think you're going to infiltrate My County? The county where I have spies in every neighboring fortress? Where I embedded agents in Baelyang past years before anyone suspected anything? Where my intelligence network makes your entire civilization look like children playing hide and seek? You want to sneak into My house and destroy it from within? Please, come right in. I'll leave the door open. I finished Chapter 3 of Romance of the Three Kingdoms and watched the sun rise over Baelyang County. Any minute now, my boys should be marching home with 20,000 new, volunteers, for the construction crew. Second city, here we come. The victory report came in, and I nearly punched a hole through the ceiling. 14,000 barbarians killed, 30,000 captured, 390,000 civilians seized. The entire barbarian homeland, 300 miles of prime real estate, now belongs to me. Wang Dabiao chopped off Tumen's head even though the guy was already dead. That's my boy. Never waste a dramatic moment. I told old Chow to announce the victory to the whole city. Within minutes, Bailiang County turned into the world's biggest block party. People pouring into the streets, hugging, crying, celebrating. These barbarians terrorized them for 200 years. Today that chapter closed permanently. I was sitting in my office, twirling my pen, enjoying 5 beautiful minutes of peace. Then both princesses showed up. At the same time. Together. They hate each other, but apparently my military conquest gave them something to bond over. Nothing unites rival empires like being mutually upset at the same guy. I don't have time to flirt with you two right now. Li Wuyo went first. Yexian is a general of the Xia Empire. You attacked our officer. We demand an explanation, Xia Ning piled on. Wusun is the king we appointed. That barbarian territory belongs to the Scenery Empire. You invaded our land. Even though my body and soul belong to you. Gidge, this is still unacceptable. Did she just profess total devotion and file a diplomatic protest in the same sentence? That's talent. What do you want? I asked, not even standing up. Release all the barbarians. I'll personally negotiate a peace treaty, Li Wuyo demanded. Same. And maybe pay us a few 100,000 taels as an apology, Xiaoning added. Pretty please, you want me to release MY prisoners, give back MY land, and pay you money. For winning a war you couldn't win in 2 centuries. Outstanding logic. I lit a cigarette. Have you considered that the barbarians attacked me? That sheltering them means declaring war on me? Are your empires actually ready to fight Bailiang County? Because if you are, let's go. I'll flatten your border fortresses, and if I can't, I'll change my name. Zhang Songyan, the scenery diplomat, puffed up. Bailiang is just one county with 1 million people. The Scenery Empire has 1 million soldiers, 30,000 elite cavalry. We're not afraid of you. We just don't want to bully a small county. Then Wang De, the Xia eunuch, did his slimy thing, swished his little horsetail whisk and smiled. My dear Lord Lu, why make this difficult? Just accept the imperial decree, marry our princess, become the emperor's son-in-law, and he'll probably give you the barbarian territory as a wedding gift. Family matters are so much easier to handle internally, don't you think? Credit where it's due. That old eunuch was smooth. Soft threats wrapped in silk. If I were even slightly weaker, I might have considered it. Your emperor isn't qualified to be my father-in-law. I blew out smoke. Enough talking. Let's fight. I'll wait right here for your armies. And if they don't come, I'll come to you. Dead silence. Xia Ning froze. Li Wuyo's jaw dropped. Zhang Songyan's eyes nearly popped out. Even Wang De, the slickest diplomat in the room, was speechless. Then Wang De recovered. His smile disappeared and his voice went cold. Lord Lu, think carefully. If both empires attack simultaneously, Bailiang County burns. Is that what you want? I was done. I reached under my desk, pulled out my Mauser pistol, pointed it at Wang De's forehead, and pulled the trigger. Bang! One hole in the front. One much bigger hole in the back. His brains decorated the wall behind him like modern art. Li Wuyo got a face full of the eunuch's brain matter. Her legs gave out, and she collapsed on the floor. The room went so quiet you could hear dust landing. I put the gun on the desk, took another drag of my cigarette, and looked at the remaining diplomats the way a man looks at an insect on his dining table. Look, I know what you're thinking. Lu Yuan, you can't just shoot foreign diplomats during negotiations. And you're right. Normally you can't. But Wang De threatened to burn my county, my home, the place where my people live, where their children go to school, where old folks sit in parks drinking tea. Threaten my people, and diplomacy ends. The gun starts. Zhang Songyan was staring at Wang De's body, then at me, then at the gun, doing very fast mental math about whether his next words might earn him a matching hole. Xia Ning was frozen in place, covered in someone else's brain, probably reconsidering every life choice that led her to this exact moment. And Li Wuyo? She was on the floor, trembling, learning in real time that the man she's been trying to seduce resolves disagreements at approximately 1,200 feet per second. I flicked ash off my cigarette. Anyone else want to threaten my county? Li Wuyo's legs gave out. She hit the floor like a sack of rice. Wangda's blood splattered across her face, the smell of gunpowder and iron filling the room. I swung the gun toward Zhang Songyan. This man aged 30 years in 1 second. Oh, Lord Lu. Let's talk this out. We were just having a friendly chat. Why so angry? Because that old cockroach spent the last 10 minutes talking to me in passive-aggressive riddles, and I hate passive-aggressive people. Now he's dead, and I feel great. I smiled at him. You too want me to go to war? I'm worried you don't have the guts. So let me kill a few more of your people. Maybe that'll motivate your emperors to actually send armies. Xia Ning was shaking. Gidge, please calm down. We never meant to pressure. Bang. Zhang Songyan's head popped like a watermelon at a shooting range. Xia Ning got her second face full of someone else's brain today. HHH, she dropped to her knees. 2 diplomats. 2 bullets. 2 redecorated walls. I blew the smoke off the barrel. You came to MY house, threatened MY County, and expected me to say yes, sir, sorry, sir? Did you overdose on stupid pills? Then I dropped the real hammer. From today, both of you princesses are staying here as my servants. When your empires send ransom money, I'll let you go. Xia Ning was crying. Gee Gidge, Ninger was wrong. Please don't scare me. Li Wuyo? This woman crawled over on her knees, wiped the blood off her face with a handkerchief, forced the most terrified smile in human history, and started massaging my feet. Why, you killed them beautifully, my lord. Those loudmouthed dogs deserved it. I was going to punish them myself. Thank you for doing it for me. 30 seconds ago, she was threatening war. Now she's giving me a pedicure and calling herself your humble servant. The survival instincts on this woman are Olympic level. I'm a reasonable man, I said, leaning back. I believe in winning hearts through virtue. I never force anyone. If you feel wronged, speak up. I'm very easy to talk to. Nobody forced me. Everything is completely voluntary. Li Wuyo's eyes were swimming with tears, but that smile was welded to her face. Good girl, I pinched her cheek. Oh, and stop wearing that outfit. Wear the bunny suit next time. I like that one better. And you? I pointed at Xia Ning. The JK skirt is fine, but switch to flesh-colored stockings. Xia Ning nodded so fast her head nearly fell off. Yes. Noted. Flesh-colored. Got it. I just turned 2 foreign princesses into my personal dress-up dolls using nothing but a handgun and sheer audacity. I was about to send them off for training when a soldier burst in. SIR. Barbarian forces approaching the city. Heaven gave them a road, and they chose hell instead. I grabbed my gun and marched to the walls. Everyone scrambled into defensive positions. But then, plot twist of the century, a voice boomed from the dust cloud. Lord Lu. I am Yeshian, left king of the barbarians. We're here to surrender. My soldiers looked at each other like, excuse me, what? Then Wusun's voice. Lord Lu. I'm Wusun. We want to join you. Please give us a chance. We'll fight for you forever. Xia Ning and Li Wuyo exchanged a look that said, we got our faces painted with human brains for nothing. Red Ant leaned over. Fake surrender? Obviously. So what do we do? Play along. Those are premium construction workers out there. I cupped my hands and shouted. Fine. You want to talk? Strip naked and walk over here. Every woman on the wall turned bright red. Down below, Yeshian looked at Wusun. Did he just say, get naked? That's what he said. This is humiliating. We have no choice. But we'll hide the grenades in our hair. Wusun shouted back. Lord Lu, making us strip is too degrading. Oh, you're embarrassed? Then let's skip the talking and fight. I'll stack your bodies into 2 pyramids, one in front of each empire's border gate. Anyone who knocks them down gets invaded next. The princesses behind me winced. They knew I wasn't joking. Wusun gritted his teeth and ordered everyone to strip. 20,000 barbarian warriors, buck naked in the cold wind, shivering like hairless cats. Wusun was chattering so hard his teeth nearly cracked. We're naked. Can we come over now? I stroked my chin thoughtfully. Not yet. Shave your heads too. The look on Wusun's face was worth more than every tael of silver I've ever earned. That man's soul left his body. Because the grenades? They were hidden in their hair. I could practically hear his internal screaming from 300 meters away. Did I know about the grenades? Maybe. Did I just want to see 20,000 naked, bald barbarians trudging toward my city gate in the cold? Also maybe. A man can have two reasons. Look, people in this era have ridiculously thick hair. Finding a bald guy is like finding a unicorn. And barbarians? They don't even wash. Their hair is basically a jungle. Who knows what they've stuffed in there? I'll tell you what, my grenades. The ones they stole from me. One hidden explosive near my face, and it's game over. I didn't survive 5 years of hell by being careless. I survived by being the most paranoid man alive. Down below, Yeshian was losing his mind. He wants us bald? This is too far. I'd rather die. Wussen, the smarter brother, grabbed a knife, chopped his own hair off, and shouted, "Done. We're cutting it." Within minutes, 20,000 barbarian warriors had shiny bald heads gleaming in the morning sun. Naked, bald, shivering, lined up 3 meters apart like the world's worst nudist parade. I raised my telescope for a quick inspection and, puffed, that's small. Not even a third of what I'm working with. Red Ant pretended she didn't hear that. Xiaoning pretended she didn't hear that. Everyone pretended they didn't hear that. But I said what I said. Open the gate. Single file. Anyone moves funny, shoot them dead. They shuffled in like the most pathetic conga line in military history. Wussen tried to negotiate. Lord Liu, we're princes. Surely we deserve some dignity? Maybe skip the handcuffs? Not killing you is the dignity. Wanna argue? I can arrange the alternative. Wussen grabbed Yeshian's arm before his brother exploded. We understand, Lord Liu. Smart kid. Dumb, but occasionally smart. We process them in batches. Handcuffs, leg chains, prison uniforms, the full luxury package. When Yeshian finally walked through the city gates and saw Bailiang County for the first time, his jaw hit the concrete. This is what Bailiang actually looks like? Wussen whispered. I always thought our Golden Court was almost as grand as the 3 empires' capitals. But compared to this, our home was basically an outhouse. Stop whispering and walk faster. The guard cracked his whip across both their backs. Snap, snap. They yelped and stumbled forward. 200 years of barbarian supremacy, and now they're getting whipped through MY streets in prison pajamas. Poetic justice doesn't begin to cover it. The citizens lined both sides of the road. And this is where it got emotional. A young boy screamed at the prisoners, "You monsters! Give me back my grandfather." A middle-aged man fell to his knees sobbing. Wife, do you see this? The boss got them. He got them all. A teenage girl holding a toddler cried. Mom, Dad, wherever you are, the barbarians are finished. Your daughters are safe. The boss takes care of us. 200 years of terror, slavery, murder, and raids. All of it concentrated into this one moment. Every tear, every fist, every shout was decades of pain finally finding release. Then someone started singing. That song about me, the one every citizen knows. One voice became 10, 10 became 100, 100 became the entire city. Long live the boss. The whole city was singing my name. And I'm not going to lie, something got in my eye. Dust. Definitely dust. Yeshian and Wussen couldn't even look up. The crowd's eyes weren't just angry. They were the eyes of people who'd lost everything to these barbarians and finally got to see justice. After the victory parade through Main Street, a guard pulled the 2 princes aside. You two, come with me. Can we rest first? Yeshian wheezed. Rest? Crack. 3 more whiplashes. You think you deserve rest, barbarian dog? Okay, we're walking. Wussen dragged his brother forward. They were led to a dark, creepy courtyard. A skinny old man shuffled out from the back room, grinning ear to ear. Oh, more customers? The guard said. Boss's special orders. Work fast. Don't kill them. The old man cracked his knuckles. Don't you worry. They don't call me one-cut bloodless phone number 3 for nothing. Quick slice, clean cut, snipped right off at the root. Yeshian and Wussen looked at each other. Then looked down. Then back at each other. Then at the old man's knife. I wasn't there to see their faces, but I'm told the screaming could be heard 3 blocks away. Welcome to Bailiang County, gentlemen. We have excellent schools, world-class healthcare, thriving commerce, and a very enthusiastic surgeon who's about to make sure your bloodline ends here. Should have surrendered when I asked nicely. Oh wait, I never asked nicely. While Yeshian and Wussen were getting strapped to benches in a very suspicious courtyard, an old man walked out with a box of knives. Don't worry, boys. I'm phone number 3, the fastest blade at the pig farm. I've castrated 80% of the boars in this county. One snip, nice and clean. The realization hit them like a freight train. Yeshian, Luyun, I will never forgive. Ahhhh. His whole body went rigid. One cut. Done. Manhood status. Permanently revoked. Wusun was next. Please don't. I'll be a dog. I'll be anything. Don't. Ahhh. He passed out from the pain. Phone number 3 side. I told you not to squirm. Now look, bleeding everywhere. Gotta stitch you up too. So inconsiderate. This man castrates barbarian princes with the same energy as clipping toenails. I love my employees. While those two were losing their family jewels, Wang Dabiao marched the rest of the prisoners home. He was sulking because Yeshian and Wusun surrendered before he could collect their heads. Those cowards. I could have had 3 severed heads for my trophy wall, but NOO, they had to surrender. Zheng Lujin was dripping jealousy. You already got Tumen's head as first kill. Stop being greedy. I looked at the sea of prisoners streaming into my city, and my heart sang. All this free labor. The second city is going to build itself. I issued the processing orders. All males over 5 get stripped, shaved, chained, and organized into groups of 50. One person acts up, the whole group pays. Nothing motivates good behavior like collective punishment. Kids under 5 go to the orphanage, regardless of gender. That young, they won't remember the old life. Raise them as Bailiang citizens. Women get checked by our female soldiers at the south gate. Healthy, strong ones get awarded to unmarried soldiers based on military merit. Leftovers get sold to citizens as servants or assigned to the textile factory. Is this brutal? By modern standards, absolutely. By this world's standards? I'm actually being generous. In the 3 empires, conquered women get treated far worse. Plus, Bailiang has a serious gender imbalance. Too many single dudes running around. Single soldiers are angry soldiers. Married soldiers are motivated soldiers. This is workforce optimization and social engineering in one move. Old Chow started panicking about logistics. Where do we put all these people? The orphanage can't hold this many kids. The men need food and toilets and expand the orphanage. Babies under 3 get adopted out. They're too young to remember anything. Perfect integration. Women will be distributed within days. Don't worry about housing them. The men? Send them to the construction site tomorrow. Pick some obedient barbarians. Promote them as overseers. Let barbarians manage barbarians. Works like a charm. Brilliant. Old Chow scribbled frantically and ran off. That evening, I hosted a victory banquet at the Star Terrace. Every commander was there. Every hero. I stood up with my wine cup. 5 years ago, I came to Bailiang County alone. Population, 2,000. The town was a ruin. People were starving. Barbarians raided whenever they felt like it. The Imperial garrison hid behind their walls. I swore I'd turn this place into paradise and destroy the barbarians. Tonight, I did it. This isn't just MY victory. It's OURS. Grown men started crying. Guer Mao, the cavalry commander, could barely speak. Boss, I was just a stable boy before you found me. Without you, I'd still be shoveling horse dung. One by one, they stood up and swore lifetime loyalty. If we ever betray the boss, strike us dead. Then old Chow, with his signature perfect timing, dropped the suggestion bomb. Sir, with the barbarians gone and a second city being built, calling ourselves a county doesn't really work anymore, does it? Perhaps it's time to elevate your title. Everyone held their breath. Here we go again. Wang Dabiao couldn't contain himself. Become a king. Don't say the K word out loud. You idiot. I smacked him. Lesson learned from last time. The moment someone says, king, or emperor, my wife materializes in a doorway to witness it. Not making that mistake again. Since everyone's so enthusiastic, I'll give myself a little promotion. County Magistrate 2. City Prefect. Military rank from Brigade Commander to Division Commander. See? Modest. Tasteful. Leaves room for growth. Doesn't attract attention. I'll just write a letter to Prince Duan asking him to rubber stamp a prefect appointment. The Empress trusts him completely, and she won't care about some random county official getting a minor promotion in the middle of nowhere. Meanwhile, I'm secretly running an army larger than most nations, building my second city, holding 2 foreign princesses hostage, and I just castrated the barbarian royal bloodline. But on paper, just a humble prefect doing humble prefect things. I raised my cup and silently congratulated myself. I'm such a genius. Only a prefect. Wang Dabiao looked like I'd told him Christmas was canceled. At least become a marquis. Xia Hongmei slapped the back of his head so hard his ancestors felt it. One more word, and I'll end you. Wang Dabiao shut up instantly. This man fears exactly two things in the universe. Me and Big Sister Hongmei. In that order. Maybe reversed. Old Chow was a little disappointed too, but he got it. He shot everyone a look that said, play along. The king thing is coming, just not today, then smiled. The boss is wise. The boss is wise. Everyone echoed. Good boys. I started handing out promotions like candy. Wang Dabiao. First kill on 2-man. Full brigade commander. Gu Ermao. Cavalry breakthrough. Full brigade commander. Zheng Lujin. Flanking maneuver. Deputy brigade. Even Red Ant's medical corps went up 2 ranks. Every department head got bumped. Every hero got recognized. I ordered a full review of individual soldiers, promotions, bonuses, combat hero awards, the works. Medals, titles, group study sessions on what the war heroes did. The full motivational package. Old Chow corrected everyone. Stop calling him boss. He's Prefect Lord now. Everyone grinned. Yes, Prefect Lord boss. Doesn't matter what you call me, I said. But let's get the system right. Civilian side calls me prefect or boss. Military side calls me division commander or chief. Military and government stay separate. We've been sloppy about this because we were small and poor. Not anymore. Then the big announcement. Bailiang County is hereby upgraded to Bailiang Prefecture. The second city shall be named Mount Tai County. Brilliant, Old Chow gushed. Mount Tai, the greatest of the 5 sacred mountains from water margin. What a name. Everyone started competing over who could compliment me the hardest. I actually blushed. The truth is I just couldn't be bothered to think of anything creative. But sure, let them believe I'm a poetic genius. Calm down. It's just one mountain. When we've got all 5, then you can celebrate. Every person in that room understood exactly what I meant. 5 mountains. 5 cities. 1 empire. They howled with excitement. Meanwhile, and I only heard about this later, Jianxia's journey home was turning into a horror movie. She'd reached the central province, the richest region in the empire. Or at least it used to be. Now, the drought had turned it into hell on earth. Cracked soil stretching to the horizon. Lakes dried to mud puddles. Skeletal dogs gnawing on human skulls under trees stripped bare of bark. People had eaten the bark off the trees. Jianxia had to rescue children from being cooked by starving mobs. Actual human children being thrown into actual cooking pots. If she hadn't had armed guards, the crowd would have torn her apart for interfering with their meal. Ma Sanbao was fanning little Huan Huan in the sweltering heat. It's already winter in Bailiang. Why is it still boiling here? Because the little ice age doesn't work like normal weather, Ma Sanbao. I told her this. Extreme droughts, extreme floods, extreme cold. All at once, all unpredictable. But nobody listens to Dogman, do they? Zhao Ji delivered even more wonderful news. The Central Province governor? The starving mob broke into his mansion, killed his entire family, and boiled them. What? When? Recently. Also, there's a doomsday cult called the Maitreya sect telling everyone they can become Buddha. It's basically a rebel army wearing robes. Where are the provincial troops? Dead, deserted, or dying of thirst? You can survive a month without food. 3 days without water? Impossible. Jinxia's brain was doing the math, and every number was catastrophic. 3 million people starving. Each person needs 3 ounces of rice per day minimum. That's 10,000 bushels daily. She has 0 money, 0 grain, and 0 solutions. Can the prince's estate supply this? Zhao Ji laughed bitterly. If we could, you wouldn't need to worry. The empire she killed eunuchs to save, the throne she fought to claim, the dynasty she swore to restore, it was rotting from the center outward, exactly the way I told her it would. I know because Liu Su sent me reports. And reading them, I felt no satisfaction. No, I told you so. Just sadness. Because my daughter is out there in that nightmare. And the woman who calls me Dog Man is finally seeing the apocalypse I've been warning her about. Not from a comfortable office with tea and cigarettes, but from a carriage rolling past human bones and cannibal cook fires. Back in Bailiang Prefecture, I poured myself another cup of wine and stared at the stars. 5 mountains, I whispered. I need to move faster. Somewhere out there, millions of refugees were about to start walking. And I intended to make sure they walked toward me. I wasn't there for this part. But Liu Su's reports, and later Zhao Ji's terrified retelling, painted a picture vivid enough to give me nightmares. It started with Jinxiao screaming at her brother, "I want solutions, not more problems. The court has been feeding you people for years and nobody can think of one fix." Zhao Ji, bless his trembling little soul, eventually squeaked out, "There is one person who could solve this." "Who?" Lu Yuan, Ma Sanbao snorted. "The boy's been brainwashed." "What's that traitor going to do? Magic food and water out of thin air?" Jinxia sighed. She actually sighed, because deep down, she knows I'm the only one who could handle this, but her pride would rather chew glass. Then Zhao Ji dropped the bomb I'd carefully prepared. Lu Yuan said if the refugees have nowhere to go, send them to Baiyang. "I knew it," Jinxiao exploded. "That traitor just wants free citizens. He thinks I can't see through his schemes. My empire's people do not need a rebel to save them. I'd rather die." Classic Jinxia. The building is on fire, and she's refusing to use the extinguisher because it has MY name on it. Then Zhao Ji played his ace card. Very casually. "Oh, well, if you don't want the 500,000 gold taels he sent along for you, I'll just send them back." Silence. Ma Sanbao's head nearly spun off his neck. "Nobody is sending anything back. But your majesty said she doesn't want the traitor's money. That money is stolen from the people." Ma Sanbao was doing mental gymnastics at Olympic speed. Using a rebel's money to save the empire is actually patriotic. It's taking from the thief and giving to the citizens. "Your majesty, please." Even Jinxia couldn't argue with that logic. She looked at sleeping Huan Huan and said quietly, "Don't discuss this in front of the child. She doesn't want our daughter knowing her mother is plotting against her father." Small mercies. With MY gold in her pocket, Jinxia got busy. Ordered Zhao Ji to buy grain from merchants. Sent her secret guard captain, a woman literally named Grape, to guide refugees toward the capital with promises of imperial aid. But the central province was already beyond saving by normal means. The caravan rolled through ghost towns. 9 out of 10 houses empty. The remaining residents were half-dead elders lying in the dirt, too weak to move, flies crawling on their faces, just waiting for death to collect them. Jinxiao had been handing out the food and supplies I'd packed for her journey. Every canned fruit, every dried meat ration, every water container. She gave it all away. Because that's who she is. Infuriating, stubborn, but genuinely kind. "If there is sin here, it's mine," she whispered, staring at the empty sky. "These people did nothing wrong. Heaven, please, just send rain." Then she muttered, "That dog man was right. I really am a terrible ruler." She said that. About me being right. I wish I'd been there to hear it. And also I'm glad I wasn't, because the things she saw next would haunt anyone. The caravan was trying to leave the city when refugees blocked every road. Front, back, sides. Hundreds of starving people on their knees. "Please, just one bite of food." A woman held up a dying baby. "Just one sip of water, she's almost gone, please." Jinxia hesitated. And in that hesitation, someone in the crowd spotted the truth. They have food. I saw them giving food to people outside the city. Meat. They have meat. Every eye in that crowd went from desperate to feral. "Give us everything." The mob surged forward. Guards drew swords. Zhao Ji was screaming to clear the road. And my wife, the empress of a dying empire, carrying my gold, guarding our daughter, was trapped in the middle of a starving human tsunami with no way out. Back in my study, I was writing chapter 4 of Romance of the Three Kingdoms, when something made me put down my pen. I stared at the candle for a long time. "Liu Su," I whispered to no one, "you better be close. I'm going to tell you what happened next, and I need you to understand. I wasn't there. I got these reports later. And every single word made me want to burn the entire central province to the ground." The mob went berserk. Thousands of starving people surging toward the caravan like a human tidal wave. Guards drew swords. One more step and you die. Didn't work. Know why? Dead people are just food to these folks. Getting killed wasn't a threat, it was a delivery service. "I want meat. I want water. I want to live." A guard slashed a man's arm open. Before the guy even hit the ground, 3 people dove onto him and started drinking his blood. Sucked him dry. Right there in the street. Broad daylight. Grape, Jinxia's shadow guard captain, terrifying woman with a scar across her face, was cutting a path through the crowd. But Jianxia screamed, "Don't kill them, woman. They are eating each other. This is not the time for mercy." Grape switched from lethal strikes to slapping people with the flat of her blade, which is like putting a band-aid on a volcano. Zhao Ji, for once in his useless life, had a good idea. Throw the food. Use it as bait. They dumped every bag of rice, every canned meat, every supply I'd packed for them off the wagons. The mob forgot about the caravan instantly and dove for the food like piranhas. People fighting, biting, clawing each other for a single can of fruit. The caravan punched through and ran for the city gates. And the gates were shut. Standing in front of them, hundreds of bald guys in white robes, well-fed and glowing like they'd been eating steak while everyone else starved. The heavens are corrupt. Maitreya has come. Surrender your souls, the Maitreya cult. A doomsday religion that popped up during the famine. Become Buddha through us, they promised. What they actually did was hoard all the food, recruit the desperate, and build themselves a private army of fanatics. They poured in from every direction. Hundreds became thousands. My wife was surrounded. And these weren't starving skeletons. These guys were fed, trained. They had archers. Professional ones who drew their bows like soldiers, not peasants. Jinxiao pulled out the dagger she'd originally brought to stab me with. Poetic. Then she said the words that, when I heard them later, cracked something inside my chest. Sambao. Zhao Ji. No matter what happens, take Huan Huan and run. Go find that dog man. Not the capital. Not the prince. Not the court. Me. She was preparing to die, and her last order was to send our daughter to the rebel traitor dog man she's been cursing for 5 years. Because she knows, deep down, past all the pride and the politics and the insults, she knows I'm the only person on this planet who would burn the world down for that little girl. Ma Sambao was shaking. The shadow guards are coming. Just hold on. They won't make it in time, Jinxia said, watching the archers take aim. Grape was a demon, slashing cult members left and right, screaming profanity that would make a sailor blush. Get lost, you fake bald frauds. She had 50 crossbows. 10 bolts each. 500 shots against thousands of enemies. Not enough. Not close to enough. A deep voice echoed across the battlefield. Stubborn souls. Fire. Every cultist archer drew to full moon. Grape's outer guards were already falling. The crossbow bolts were running out. The cult foot soldiers had pulled back, because why fight hand-to-hand when your archers can turn the entire convoy into a pincushion from a safe distance? Jinxia held her dagger. Grape held her sword. Ma Sambao held our daughter. No escape route. No reinforcements. No miracle. And I was 2,000 miles away, writing a novel. When Liusu's emergency messenger reached me, I threw the desk across the room. Every single nightmare I'd warned Jinxiao about, the famine, the chaos, the cults, the collapse, was happening all at once, and she was standing in the middle of it holding a knife meant for me. Liusu, I whispered through clenched teeth. If you let them die, don't bother coming back. What happened next, I pieced together from multiple reports, and every detail made my blood boil hotter. Grape, the scarred, foul-mouthed, absolutely terrifying shadow guard captain, pulled out something called a diamond umbrella. Open it. Instant arrow shield. Close it. 4-sided mace that can punch through armor. Each one costs a fortune. The Secret Service only has about 100. Arrows hammered down like rain. The umbrellas blocked most of them, but people were still falling. The cult archers fired in 3 rotating waves. No pauses, no mercy, no breathing room. And while the arrows flew from the front, sneaky cultists in the back were shooting poison darts. Then their leader, this smug, muscular fake monk surrounded by bodyguards, picked up an iron bow that normally takes 3 men to draw. He pulled it to full moon solo. One shot, straight through Grape's thigh, punched clean through her reinforced armor like it was paper. She fell off her horse. Jinxia screamed her name. Grape smiled through bloody teeth. I'm fine, I'm fine, Mississippi. Then she yanked the arrow out of her own leg, grabbed her umbrella mace in one hand, her chipped sword in the other, and limped forward to keep fighting. The cult leader stroked his chin. I like this woman. If she survives, I'll make her one of my priestesses. Buddy, that woman would eat your liver before she'd join your cult. But you'll find that out soon enough. The caravan was collapsing. Swords were so chipped they couldn't cut butter. Fighters were dropping from exhaustion and wounds. Out of the original escort, Maybe 15 people were still standing around Jinxia's carriage, bleeding, gasping. Done. Then a young monk in lotus robes stepped forward with a smug smile. Dear lady, Buddha admires your courage. Lay down your weapons, and he will save you. Grape spat blood in his direction. Save your mother's head. I hate bald frauds more than anything on this planet. Let us go, or you all die. You're in no position to make demands. This is Mithria territory. There is nobody else here. Then Grape dropped a bomb. You're not monks. You're the provincial garrison. And your precious Buddha over there? That's the governor of Central Province, isn't it? The one who supposedly got eaten by refugees? Silence. Inside the carriage, everyone's brain exploded simultaneously. Jinxia. Impossible. The governor's family was killed and eaten. Ma Sanbao thought about it. Actually, these archers are too skilled to be peasants. They're well fed in a famine zone, which means they have food stockpiles. The only person with access to the provincial granaries would be the governor. Grape's right. The governor faked his own death, stole the emergency grain reserves meant for millions of starving citizens, created a doomsday cult, and is now living like a king while his people eat each other in the streets. Jinxia punched the steel carriage wall so hard, she split her knuckles open. He works for me. How dare he? Zhao Ji sighed. Lu Yuan warned us about this. He said the real danger isn't peasant rebellions. Those can be crushed. The real danger is when officials with power and resources go rogue. A governor with an army, pretending to be dead, building a cult empire from the shadows? That's a real threat. If we hadn't refused Lu Yuan's military escort, Zhao Ji added quietly, these cultists would be a joke. Jinxia glared at him like she wanted to set him on fire. You love him so much, go be his dog. But she didn't argue, because he was right, and she knew it. Then she said something that broke my heart when I read it later. Sanbao, Zhao Ji, take Huan and run. Find that dog man. She was preparing to die, and her final wish was to send our daughter to me. Zhao Ji whispered, Sister, before I die, let me say one thing. If Lu Yuan truly wanted to rebel, nobody could stop him. You shouldn't treat him as an enemy. He loves you. He adores Huan. He would never hurt the empire if you asked him not to. You were wrong. You were really, truly wrong. Jinxia's eyes filled with tears she refused to let fall. Because deep inside, past the pride and the stubbornness and the dogman, insults, she knew. The young monk sneered. Enough stalling. Your reinforcements aren't coming. Surrender or face the Azura. Grape, bleeding from 7 wounds, barely standing, still talking trash. I'm warning you. My people are almost here. Move aside or I'll kill you first. Every cultist burst out laughing. Your people? Where? There's nobody left but US. This wild woman is feisty. After Buddha saves her, maybe he'll let US have a turn. Grape's heart sank. The bluff wasn't working. They were surrounded, outnumbered, outgunned, and out of time. The young monk took one cocky step forward. Go ahead. I'm right here. Kill me if you see. His head snapped back. A neat hole appeared in his forehead. Brain matter sprayed out the back of his skull. He dropped like a puppet with cut strings. Every laugh died instantly. Every cultist froze. Jinxia stared. What? What just happened? I'll tell you what happened. That was a Bailiang manufactured rifle bullet, fired from approximately 800 meters, by someone I personally trained. Liusu made it. My girl made it just in time. And she brought friends. Here's what my people told me happened next, and honestly, Liusu earned a raise, a mansion, and a statue. The cultists were freaking out. There, Venerable One dropped dead with a hole in his head, and then the guys at the city gates started falling one by one. Same way. Neat little hole. No warning. No sound. Just plop, plop, plop. Where are they? Who's shooting? Nobody could see my snipers. Because my snipers are that good. 800 meters out, hidden positions, Bailiang manufactured rifles with accuracy that this world has never seen. Grape, bleeding from her leg, barely conscious, still had the energy to bluff. I told you my people were coming. You're all dead. Queen behavior from a woman who genuinely didn't know who was helping her either. Then Liusu's special forces dropped the real party favors. Boom, boom, boom. Incendiary grenades. My personal recipe. Once that fire touches you, it sticks. Burns through clothes, melts into flesh, uses your own body fat as fuel. You can't pat it out. You can't roll it off. You just burn. The cultists went from fearless holy warriors to screaming toddlers in about 3 seconds. It's divine thunder. God is angry at us. I'll never eat human meat again. Please spare me. These guys spent 2 years eating people and building a cannibal cult. And now they find religion? The real religion? When MY grenades are falling on their heads. The wind blew the smell of burning human flesh across the battlefield. People were vomiting while running. Some were vomiting while on fire. It was, by all accounts, the worst barbecue in history. The fake Buddha, the governor who faked his own death and stole the grain meant for millions, was sprinting for his life, surrounded by his bodyguards. What are these people? How do they control lightning and hellfire? He was genuinely wondering if he'd angered actual gods. Buddy, you didn't anger gods. You angered something worse. You angered the guy whose wife you almost killed. Mid-sprint, he felt a sharp sting between his eyebrows. Then nothing. Forever. My sniper put a bullet through his forehead from so far away, he never heard the shot that killed him. Buddha is dead. The heavens killed Buddha. His elite guards, these big tough cult enforcers, completely lost it. If their invincible leader could get struck down by invisible judgment from the sky, what chance did they have? Within minutes, not a single cultist was standing. Dead, fleeing, or on fire. Mostly all three. Jianxiao's caravan stumbled to the city gates, gasping, bleeding, alive. Zhao Ji slid down the carriage wall, laughing hysterically. We're alive. Sister, we're alive. Grape finally collapsed off her horse. Her leg wound was catastrophic. The arrow had punched clean through. Ma Sanbao ripped open her pants and went pale. If we don't stop the bleeding right now, she's gone. Stitch her up. Hurry, Jianxia screamed. Your Majesty. All our medical supplies burned. Grape grabbed Jianxia's hand with fading strength. Next life. I'll protect you again. Peach, take over for me. You're not dying. That's an order. Jianxia was holding her guard captain, covered in blood, tears finally breaking free. And that's when my team walked out of the shadows. Enemies, Peach screamed. Everyone raised weapons with the last scraps of energy they had left. Stand down, a woman's voice called out. If we were enemies, you'd already be dead. The lead figure removed her mask, revealing Liu Su's face. My spy. My agent. The woman I'd sent to shadow Jianxia from the moment she left Bailiang. She dropped to one knee. Liu Su, by order of the boss, commanding Special Operations Battalion. We are here to protect the lady and the young Mississippi. Then 50 black-clad operatives behind her knelt in perfect unison. We greet the lady and the young miss. The Secret Service agents, Jianxia's own elite guards, stood there with their mouths open. They'd traveled for days and never once detected 50 Special Forces soldiers tailing them in the shadows. Zhao Ji slapped his thigh so hard it echoed. I knew it. I knew it was Lu Yuan's people. Ma Sanbao's face was doing the world's most complicated emotional math. And Jianxia, the woman who calls me dog man, traitor, rebel, scoundrel, looked at Liu Su, then at the burning cultist corpses, then at her dying bodyguard who could now be saved because my team carries field medical kits, and whispered, You're from Bailiang County. Yes, sweetheart. We are. Your dog man sent 50 of his best killers to follow you across the continent, armed with sniper rifles, incendiary grenades, and enough firepower to level a small city. Not because you asked, not because you'd ever thank him, but because you're his wife, and Huan Huan is his daughter, and that's what dogmen do. You're welcome. Liu Su told me everything afterward, and honestly, I'm both proud and annoyed. Proud because my team saved the day. Annoyed because Jianxia's first reaction after being rescued from certain death was, that dog man sent you to spy on me. Lady, you were seconds from becoming cult food. My people just wiped out an entire doomsday religion to save your life. And your opening line is a complaint? Liu Su didn't take it well either. My girl looked at the pile of burning cultist corpses, then back at Jianxia, and said, First of all, it's not spying. It's protection. Second, you think your little crew could have crossed Central Province alive. There's not just the Mithriya cult out there. There's the Eternal Mother sect, the Heart-Eating Pagoda King, 18 different warlord cults fighting for territory. Your guards would be snacks. Jianxia's bodyguard, Peach, puffed up. How dare you disrespect? Shut up and let me save your boss's life, Liu Su said, then walked straight to Grape. The leg wound was nasty. Arrow punched clean through bone. Massive blood loss. Liu Su's field medics went to work like the professionals I trained them to be. Blood type check. Type 1. Type 1 donors, step forward. Transfusion successful. Administering anesthesia. Beginning surgical debridement. 2 hours of surgery in a moving carriage, and Liu Su walked out soaked in sweat. She'll live. The artery's intact, but the bone is damaged. She needs our antibiotics for 2 weeks straight. Why can't we use regular medicine? Peach asked. Because regular medicine in this world is basically prayer with extra steps. This 4-drip? Worth its weight in gold. Bailiang exclusive. Use it wrong, and the patient dies. Jin Xiao, for once, was genuinely grateful. I owe you a life. You don't owe us anything. Thank the boss. Liu Su stepped outside, pulled out one of MY's cigarettes from MY brand, lit it with one of MY lighters, and took a long drag. And honestly, why should we share our medicine with the Empire? Did the Empire ever help Bailiang? Your emperor is incompetent, your officials are corrupt, and in 2 years this whole dynasty collapses. These drugs in the wrong hands during wartime? People would kill for them. Literally. Who are you calling incompetent? Peach nearly drew her sword. Liu Su blew smoke in her general direction. Before we left, the boss specifically told me, don't provoke them. But I can't help it. You people almost got yourselves killed because her ladyship decided to play charity angel in cannibal territory. Every guard who died today died because of that decision. Learn from it. Then she vanished. Poof. 50 special operators dissolving into thin air like they were never there. That woman is horrible, Peach fumed. Just because she's pretty doesn't mean I won't punch her, Ma Sanbao huffed. Bailiang people have no manners. But Jin Xiao went quiet. Then she said, no, she's right. My kindness got people killed. I need to be smarter. Finally. 5 years of me saying, be practical, and it takes a sarcastic woman with a cigarette to get through to her. Liu Su stayed invisible after that, but every day, medicine for Grape showed up like clockwork. No notes, no fanfare, just life-saving drugs appearing from nowhere. 10 days later, the caravan reached White Jade Capital. And here's the part that made me laugh and cry at the same time. Jin Xiao walked through the back door of her own palace, and nobody noticed she'd been gone. The Empress of the entire nation disappeared for weeks, nearly died twice, and the court didn't even care. They'd already made her irrelevant, just like her father before her. She could skip court forever, and the machine would keep grinding without her. The capital itself was a dump. Beggars everywhere. Garbage in the streets. People relieving themselves on sidewalks. The air smelled like an open sewer. And Jin Xiao, who just spent days in MY City with its clean paved roads, flower-lined boulevards, electric street lamps, and organized sanitation, was finally seeing the contrast with her own eyes. Both cities have roughly 1 million people, but one smells like a garden and the other smells like a latrine. Guess which one is run by the loyal servant of the Empire and which one is run by the traitor dogman. The first thing she did when she changed back into her dragon robes? She ordered the Imperial Archives to pull every document they had on me. Lu Yuan, born in the first year of Shenlong, father Lu Qishan, former vice director of the Ministry of Revenue. She's researching me. The woman who spent 5 years calling me a traitor is now sitting in her palace, reading my personnel file like it's a romance novel. I wonder what she'll find. My school records? My father's demotion for being too honest? The fact that sending me to Bailiang County was supposed to be a death sentence? Read carefully, Your Majesty, because every page of that file tells the same story. The Empire tried to kill me, and I built paradise instead. Your move, Jinxia. I found out about this later through Liu Su's intelligence network, and let me tell you, I almost fell off my chair. Jinxia got back to the palace, changed into her dragon robes, and the first thing she did was pull my personnel file from the Imperial Archives. Lu Yuan, born year 1 of Shenlong, father Lu Qishan, former vice director of revenue. She read the whole thing. Then she frowned. This Lu Qishan is clearly a loyal patriot. How did he produce such a treasonous son? Wait, after the corrupt prime minister was purged, everyone he demoted got reinstated. Why is Lu Qishan still guarding a warehouse? Good question, Your Majesty. Very good question. Sanbao, we're going to the Ministry of Revenue. Why, Your Majesty? To meet someone. Lu Qishan, the dogman's father. Ma Sanbao's brain short-circuited. He has family? I thought he was an orphan. So did I. If I hadn't read this file, he would have fooled me completely. That's right. My old man has been rotting in a warehouse for 5 years because the system forgot about him. Or rather, because certain people made sure he stayed forgotten. But we'll get to that. Before leaving, Jinxia dropped a bombshell on Ma Sanbao. From today, you're my Wei Xian. Wei Xian, the infamous eunuch party leader. The one she killed to become Empress. Now she's telling Ma Sanbao to become his replacement. Ma Sanbao nearly fainted. Why, Your Majesty, I couldn't possibly. You can and you will. The empire is falling apart. If I don't have even a sliver of power, I'll watch the whole thing burn. I refuse to be the last emperor of this dynasty. Look at that. The woman who destroyed the eunuch faction to prove she was righteous is now rebuilding it because she finally understands why her father created it in the first place. Everything I told her, every single word, coming true in real time. She marched into the Ministry of Revenue, demanding to inspect the grain warehouse. You'd think the Empress checking on national food reserves during a famine would be normal. Nope. The finance minister, Zhang Tailai, was sipping tea when he heard, "The Empress is here to inspect the treasury." He actually complained. Why can't she stay in her palace painting pictures? What's she doing in MY department? Your department? Buddy, she's the emperor. It's all her department. But sure, keep that energy. Zhang Tailai shuffled outside and found all his officials physically blocking the warehouse door, kneeling in front of Jinxia to prevent entry. Your Majesty, harvests were terrible this year. Only 30% of normal. We can barely pay salaries. Where would we find grain for worthless beggars? He called starving citizens worthless beggars to the Empress's face. Ma Sanbao kicked him so hard the man did a faceplant. Are your bellies more important than the people's? Good kick, old man. I'd have added a second one. Jinxia ordered the warehouse opened. They smashed the lock. Inside, rows and rows of grain sacks, packed full. Spot check them, Jinxia ordered. Peach slashed open several bags. Beautiful golden rice poured out. Zhang Tailai threw a masterclass performance. That's the people's grain. How dare you waste it? He actually yelled at the Empress, then threatened to resign. If you don't trust me, just fire me. The other officials staged a human wall. Cut US before you cut another grain sack. So touching. So noble. So patriotic. These men would die to protect the nation's grain supply. Jinxia was actually starting to feel guilty. Maybe she'd been wrong. Then a voice spoke from the crowd. Calm, clear, fearless. Your Majesty, perhaps you should move the front bags aside and check the ones behind them. Everyone froze. Jinxia looked at the man who spoke. A low-ranking warehouse clerk in a janitor's uniform. Silver at his temples, weathered face, but his eyes, sharp, proud, burning with the same fire I see in my own mirror. My father, Lu Qishan, the man who got demoted from 5th-rank official to warehouse janitor because he dared speak truth to power. The man who's been counting grain sacks in silence for years while corrupt ministers robbed the nation blind. The man who just looked at the most powerful financial official in the empire and said, check behind the curtain, without a single tremor in his voice. 7/10 of his face is MY face. Or rather, mine is his. Lu Qishan, you're a janitor. Who asked for your opinion? The deputy minister screamed. Lu Qishan, you were an accomplice of the corrupt prime minister. The emperor spared your life. How dare you incite waste of precious grain? Zhang Tailai's eyes flashed murder, and he signaled guards to drag my father away. Jinxia stared at this man, her father-in-law she'd never met, and made her choice. Everyone stop. Pull out the front bags. Check what's behind them. Zhang Tailai nearly levitated. Your Majesty, you mustn't. Too late. Peach was already yanking bags aside, reaching the second row, plunging her knife in, and the blade sank into MUD. She ripped the bag open. Sand. Pure worthless sand poured onto the floor. The front row, real grain. A perfect display. A beautiful illusion. Everything behind it, dirt. The Ministry of Revenue, the institution responsible for feeding an empire of millions during the worst famine in a century, had been running a shell game. Real grain in front, sand in back. Books balanced. Inspections passed. And somewhere, the actual grain had been sold, stolen, or eaten by the very officials who called starving citizens worthless beggars. My father knew. He'd been watching from his janitor's post for years, and today, with the Empress standing right there, he finally had someone worth telling. That's my old man. Demoted. Humiliated. Forgotten. and he still had the backbone to speak up when it mattered. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it? When I heard what happened at the Ministry of Revenue, I laughed so hard I scared my horse. So Jianxia slashed open the front row grain sacks, beautiful golden rice. The officials threw themselves on the ground weeping about precious grain and national treasure, Oscar-worthy performances. Standing ovation from me. Then my old man spoke up from the back of the crowd. Your Majesty, why not check the bags behind the front row? My dad. My beautiful, stubborn, brilliant father. Wearing a janitor's uniform. Silver hair. Eyes like steel. Standing in a room full of thieves and pointing at their hiding spot like it was nothing. Zhang Tailai almost had a stroke. Lu Qishan, you're a janitor. Nobody asked you. The officials tried to drag him away. But Jianxia, give her credit, stopped them cold. Move the front bags. Check behind them. Peach stabbed the second row. Sand. Not rice. Not grain. Sand. Worthless, useless, can't eat it sand. Every bag behind the display row. Dirt. The entire national grain reserve, the food supply for a starving empire, had been swapped for mud while the Ministry of Revenue ran the most expensive magic trick in history. Real rice in front, sandbox in back. Zhang Tailai's recovery attempt was legendary. It must be Liu Qishan who switched them. He guards the warehouse. Arrest him, my dad just laughed. Not a nervous laugh. A victorious laugh. 5 years of being humiliated, demoted, forced to sweep floors while watching these rats steal the nation's food. And he finally got to watch them squirm. I'm a janitor, he said, grinning. You think I could replace thousands of grain sacks by myself without a single person noticing? Are you saying your entire department is blind, destroyed, logic bombed? My dad doesn't have rifles or grenades. He fights with words, and his aim is just as deadly. Jianxia was vibrating with rage. Sambao, what's the punishment for dereliction of duty, theft of state property, and lying to the emperor? Death, your majesty. Arrest them. All of them. Torture them until they tell me where my grain went. All of them. Every single one. The entire Ministry of Revenue got dragged away screaming about innocence. Beautiful. Then Jianxia turned to my father. This woman, who calls me dog man and traitor, looked at the man who made me and said, you knew the truth for years. Why didn't you report it? I'm a nobody. Who would believe me? I'd report it in the morning and my whole family would be headless by evening. Then why speak now? Because the late emperor gave me my career. I couldn't watch his daughter be deceived. Jianxia's eyes went red. I read your file today. You were a 5th-rank official. You have a son in Bailiang County. My dad's eyebrows shot up. Yes, my son has been there 5 years. He's not without talent, Jianxia said, which is the most backhanded compliment in history coming from the woman who calls me dog man. But I think you might be even more talented. Enduring humiliation for years, waiting for the right moment. You're a good man and a great official. Then she dropped the bomb. Lu Qishan, you are hereby appointed Minister of Revenue. Can I trust you? My dad, the warehouse janitor, just got promoted to the highest financial position in the empire. From sweeping floors to controlling the national treasury in one conversation. I will give my life for your majesty. She gave him 50,000 gold taels for disaster relief and left him with a team of shadow guards for protection. My father went from zero to hero in 10 minutes flat. When she left, Ma Sambao whispered, Your Majesty, are you using Lu Qishan to control Lu Yuan? Holding his father hostage, Jianxia paused. Lu Qishan is a loyal official. This has nothing to do with Lu Yuan. Even SHE didn't sound convinced. But honestly, Sambao, she sighed. What is loyalty and what is treason? Lu Yuan hasn't actually harmed the empire once. But everything he's done is technically punishable by death 10 times over. I don't even know what to think anymore. Welcome to my world, sweetheart. Gray areas as far as the eye can see. Meanwhile, in the imperial cabinet, the real puppet masters were not happy. Grand Secretary Yang Jie heard that the Empress arrested the entire revenue ministry and his eye twitched. Who told her to check the warehouse? Probably Lu Qishan, but we don't know how he contacted her. Those idiots couldn't even hide their theft properly. The cabinet started scheming. First target, Prince Duan, Jianxia's uncle. He's been too active lately. Investigate him. Find dirt. Pin him down. Then came the real power move. The Empress has been alone too long. Her palace needs companions. If she won't choose a husband willingly, We'll launch an imperial selection of handsome young men from our families. That's right. These old snakes want to put a spy in her bed, marry one of their boys to the Empress, produce an heir they control, and lock down the throne forever. They put her on the throne because she was obedient. Now she's showing teeth, and they're already shopping for her replacement. Back in Baelyong, I put down Liusu's report and stared at the ceiling. My father, the man I haven't seen in 5 years, is now the finance minister. Promoted by my wife, who doesn't know she's my wife, who's using my dad to fight a shadow war against a political machine that wants to breed her like livestock. And somewhere in the back of Jinxia's mind, she's wondering, if that dog man saw me promote his father, would he be happy? Yes, Jinxia. Yes, I would. Now please stop calling me dog man. I literally saved your life, funded your treasury, and my dad just rescued your grain supply. We're basically running this empire together, and we're not even in the same province. When I heard what happened next, the humor drained out of me real fast. The entire imperial court went into meltdown. Prince Duan rushed to the palace like his pants were on fire. Has the Empress gone insane? Zhao Ji wanted to explain everything, but Jinxia had warned him to keep quiet. So the poor kid just sat there watching his dad panic. And here's the part that made me want to punch something. Prince Duan's biggest concern wasn't the stolen grain, wasn't the starving millions. It was that Jinxia promoted my father. Lu Yuan specifically told me never to let his father get back into power. How am I supposed to explain this to him? Wait. What? That's right. I'd asked Prince Duan years ago to keep my old man safely invisible. A warehouse janitor nobody notices is a warehouse janitor nobody kills. The moment he becomes important again, he becomes a target. And Jinxia just painted a giant bullseye on his back. She didn't know. She thought she was doing something noble. Promoting a loyal man, sticking it to corrupt officials, gaining an ally. And honestly, my dad is brilliant, is loyal, is exactly who she needs. But those snakes in the cabinet don't play fair. Jinxia handled Prince Duan like a boss, though. She threw Zhang Tailai's confession on the floor and said, he dies in 3 days. Public execution. Outside the Meridian Gate. Deal with it. Then she created a secret eunuch force. Called it the Bright Guard. Recruited loyal young eunuchs to purge palace spies. The woman who killed the eunuch faction to become Empress is now building her own eunuch faction. Every single thing I predicted is happening. She's becoming her father. And she knows it. Meanwhile, my dad walked home that evening on cloud 9. Finance minister. After 5 years of sweeping floors, he bought his daughter's favorite snacks, practically skipping through the slums where my family lives. 2 crumbling mud rooms that leak when it rains and whistle when it's windy. He turned the corner toward home. The crowd hit him first. Neighbors packed around his front door. Then the smell. Thick, choking smoke. His house was on fire. Old Lou, your wife and children were still inside. We're sorry. The snacks fell from his hands. His brain went white. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. He tried to run inside, but the neighbors held him back. The flames were too high, too hot, too hungry. It was them, he screamed. The new party. I exposed their theft this morning, and they burned my family this afternoon. I'll never forgive them. Then he collapsed. Heart gave out. Everything went black. When I read this part of Liusu's report, I couldn't breathe. My mother, my little brother, my baby sister, burning alive because my father did the right thing. This is exactly why I kept him in the shadows. Exactly why I told Prince Duan to never let him rise again. Because I knew these people would. Wait. I kept reading. My dad woke up. Blurry vision. Voices around him. Then, familiar faces. His wife. His son. His daughter. Alive. He grabbed them and sobbed like I've never heard a man sob. It's my fault. I shouldn't have exposed them. I almost got you killed. My mom held him. Honey, we're fine. We're not dead. My sister pressed his hand to her cheek. Daddy, you always pinch my face. Go on, feel. Same cheeks as always. They were alive because someone pulled them out before the fire consumed the house. If those young people hadn't saved us, my mom said, shaking, we really would have died. Those young people were Liusu's agents. My people, already in position, already watching my family, already prepared for exactly this scenario. Because I knew, the moment my father stepped back into the light, someone would try to kill his family. I've been planning for this for 5 years. You think I sent Liusu to the capital just to protect Jinxia? No. Priority number one was always my parents, my brother, my sister. Liu Su had standing orders. If anything threatens the Liu family, drop everything else and save them. The fire was meant to destroy my father's will. Kill his family, break his spirit, make him resign in grief. Instead, my family is alive, my father is furious, and the new party just created the most motivated finance minister in imperial history. You wanted a war, gentlemen? You just declared one on the wrong family. Liu Su sent me the full report, and I swear, stubbornness is genetic in my family. My dad held his wife and kids, crying his eyes out. You're alive. I thought. I almost. Dad, feel my cheeks. Same squishy cheeks. I'm real. My little sister Lingji was pulling his hand to her face. Then Liu Su stepped forward and knelt. Greetings, Elder Master. I serve your son, Liu Yuan. He sent us to bring your family to Bailiang County. My dad read my letter. His reaction? That brat actually did something useful? Humph, that's my thank you. I sent an elite special forces unit across the continent to save his family, and I get, humph. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, but apparently neither does the emotional constipation. Then came the part that made me want to headbutt a wall. I'm not going, Liu Su. Excuse me, my mom. What? My brother. Dad, they just tried to burn us alive, send my family to Bailiang. I'm staying in the capital. My dad stood up straight, jaw set, eyes blazing. The Empress just promoted me to finance minister. Both emperors showed me kindness. I will not abandon the throne when it needs me most. The new party is the true cancer of this empire, and I refuse to die without cutting it out. Old master, my boss says the empire is about to collapse. Liu Su tried. I know it's about to collapse. I don't need that brat to tell me. He turned to Liu Su and bowed. Not just a casual head nod. A full 3 kowtow prostration on the floor. You saved my family. I can never repay this. Next life, I'll be your servant. Liu Su nearly tackled him, trying to stop the bowing. Elder Master, please, you can't. Then he looked at my mother, my brother, my sister, one long, burning look, and walked out without turning back. Tell my son he hasn't disgraced the Liu family name. If I die, take care of his mother and siblings. That's all the filial piety I need. My mom was sobbing. You did this 5 years ago. Almost died. Almost killed us all. And now you're doing it again. Wife, if I weren't this kind of man, would you have married me? She couldn't answer. Because she knew. She married him because he was this kind of man. Stupid, brave, righteous, and absolutely impossible to argue with. My brother knelt. I understand, father, my sister cried. And my old man walked into the darkness, alone, to fight an enemy that controls the entire government, with nothing but a fancy new title and the same iron spine that got him demoted in the first place. Like father, like son? No, he's worse than me. At least I have an army. He's walking into the snake pit with nothing but his principles. After he left, Liu Su's face went cold as winter steel. She turned to her team. New party members. Everyone you find. Kill them. Anyone who threatens the Liu family. And oh mercy. Yes, ma'am. 50 shadows vanished into the night. Then she told my mother, don't worry, elder madam. We have agents glued to your husband. Nobody touches him. Good girl, Liu Su. Protect the stubborn old fool, whether he likes it or not. That's the Liu family way. We protect people who refuse to be protected. Now here's where things get delicious. The Zhang family, the clan of Zhang Tailai, the disgraced finance minister who filled the national treasury with sand, called an emergency meeting. The family patriarch, a retired first-rank Grand Duke with connections everywhere, summoned all 7 of his powerful sons. The Empress wants to execute Tailai in 3 days. Prince Duan is using the confession to negotiate. They want us to replace all the stolen grain. Thoughts? Zhang Taiwan, the eldest, scoffed. Has the Empress been breastfeeding so long she went stupid? Zhang Taiji, the smartest brother, stroked his chin. Simple. We claim the grain was distributed as back pay to government officials. The court has owed salaries for years. Even the Empress can't argue with paying her own employees. Get Grand Secretary Yang to sign off, and it's bulletproof. Brilliant. Everyone agreed. Then Zhang Taiji added his real analysis. The Empress promoting Liu Qishan isn't her idea. It's Prince Duan pulling the strings. The cabinet is already discussing bringing back the male princes to replace her. Prince Duan is finished. The old patriarch laughed coldly. Duan is signing his own death warrant. And those were the last words he ever spoke. Because mid-laugh, his head snapped backward. A blood hole appeared in his forehead. Brain matter dripped onto the carpet like the world's most gruesome candle. The room went silent. Zhang Taiwan looked up at his father. The old man's head was tilted back, eyes open, looking like he fell asleep mid-sentence. Except for the fist-sized exit wound in the back of his skull. Father is dead. No sound. No warning. No gunshot they could hear. Just a first-rank imperial noble, alive 1 second, decoration the next. Liu Su's snipers don't knock. You burned my father's house. You tried to kill my mother, my brother, my sister. You thought because you're a big important family, you could touch the people I love and walk away. The Zhang patriarch had 7 sons, 1,000 connections, and 200 years of political power. My sniper had 1 bullet. Guess which one won? I told Liu Su, anyone who threatens my family dies. I didn't say, investigate. I didn't say, warn them. I said dies. The Liu family sends its regards. Liu Su's report came in 3 parts. Each one hit harder than the last. Part 1. The Zhang family called their emergency meeting. The patriarch was mid-sentence plotting against my father when his brain exited through the back of his skull. Then the eldest brother caught a bullet to the chest. Then the next. Then the next. By the time my team was done, not a single Zhang was breathing. The servants had already been dealt with. The whole compound went quiet as a graveyard. Because it was a graveyard. Then they moved to the next house. And the next. And the next. 16 families. One night. 3,200 people. Every single one connected to the new party. Every single one complicit in the corruption that starved millions and burned my father's house. Every door got a blood-soaked note. Touch the Liu family, die. Some might call it excessive. I call it thorough. Part 2. The part that actually hurt. Jinxia didn't sleep all night. She sat in her study staring at sleeping Huan Huan, convinced she'd gotten my family killed. It's all my fault, she whispered. I promoted Lu Qishan too publicly. I painted a target on his back. His mother, brother, sister, burned alive because of me. She didn't know Liu Su saved them. As far as she knew, my family was dead. And she was destroying herself over it. If Lu Yuan finds out, he'll hate me forever. And I deserve it. Ma Sanbao begged her to sleep. She refused. Her lips were cracked, her voice was gone, and she had mouth sores from stress. Lu Yuan was right, she said. I'm a terrible empress. Reckless. Impulsive. In Central Province, I almost got everyone killed. Now I've destroyed his family. Even if he rebels against the entire dynasty, I can't blame him. I brought this on myself. When Peach told her my father was found at a mass grave, crying over what he thought were his family's ashes. Ashes Liu Su had faked. Jinxia's eyes went red. I failed him. Then Peach delivered the second piece of news. Also, 16 families were massacred last night. Over 3,000 dead. All new party members. Someone left these at every scene. She held up the bloodstained card. Touch the Liu family, die. It was Liu Su's people, Peach said quietly. Jinxia took a deep breath. I'm told she started to get angry, then stopped herself. Because honestly, what right did she have to be angry? Someone tried to murder my mother. My response was to murder everyone responsible. That's not villainy. That's family. Don't panic, she said, her brain suddenly shifting into Empress mode. The dead were all new party core members. This actually helps us. Without them, Yangjia's power base is crippled. Tell Prince Duan to seize every military position in the capital before they regroup. Look at her. Learning. Growing. The woman who used to flinch at harsh words is now calculating political advantage from a massacre she didn't even order. I'd be proud if she wasn't also plotting to eventually arrest me. Part 3. The chess game that could end everything. Prince Duan figured it out immediately. Liu Su's team just wiped out half the new party overnight. If I don't grab military control right now, we lose this window forever. He took Zhao Ji and went to seize command of every garrison in the capital. 20,000 imperial guards already answered to him. Now he needed the rest. But Grand Secretary Yang Jia, the head snake, the real puppet master, wasn't stupid either. He looked at the massacre, looked at the note, and laughed. This isn't about the Liu family. This is Prince Duan's coup. The fire at Liu's house was just his excuse. He killed our people and blamed it on Bailiang agents. Pathetic. Wrong, old man. Dead wrong. Those were absolutely my people. But Yang Jie's paranoia is pointing him at Prince Duan instead of me, which is accidentally perfect. Then Yang Jie made his move. Mobilize the White Tiger Army. Kill Prince Duan. Kill the Empress. Put the little princess on the throne. We rule through the child, the little princess. That's Huan, my daughter. Yang Jie wants to kill Jinxia, murder Prince Duan, and turn my 5-year-old baby girl into a puppet empress controlled by the very people who stole the nation's grain and burned my family's house. I put down Liu Su's report very slowly. Then I picked it up and read that line again. Kill the Empress. Puppet the princess. My wife. My daughter. I looked out the window of my study in Bailiang Prefecture, where the sun was rising over my second city construction site, where 400,000 new citizens were building homes, where my army was training, where my factories were producing weapons that this world has never seen. I lit a cigarette and exhaled very, very slowly. Old Chow, yes, boss? Speed up the timeline. On everything, yes, boss. Yang Jie thinks he's playing chess against Prince Duan. Prince Duan thinks he's playing chess against the new party. Jinxia thinks she's playing chess against both of them. None of them realize they're all pieces on MY board. And nobody puts my daughter on a puppet throne. Liu Su's emergency report hit my desk like a brick through a window. White Jade Capital had 10,000. No, the numbers were worse. The new party controlled 150,000 White Tiger soldiers. Prince Duan had 40,000, tops. And he just decided to launch a coup at dawn. Brave? Yes. Suicidal? Also yes. Prince Duan grabbed Zhao Ji by the shoulders. I'm going to seize the 4 city gates. If I fail, get the Empress out. You die before she gets a scratch. Understand? Zhao Ji, crying. Yes, father. Then Prince Duan rode off to fight 150,000 soldiers with 40,000 men, because apparently every person connected to my life has a death wish and 0 survival instincts. It went bad. Fast. South Gate is lost. North Gate is breached. They have too many. Prince Duan, covered in blood, still swinging his sword. Send the signal. Tell them to run. A firework shot into the sky. My firework. The ones I sold him. Being used to signal that everything I warned about was happening exactly as I predicted. Zhao Ji saw it from the palace wall, and his face went gray. It's over. We move. West Gate. Now. Jinxia didn't hesitate this time. No dramatic speeches. No, I'll stay and fight. She grabbed Huan and got in the carriage. She's learning. Slowly. Painfully. But learning. 5 years ago, she fled the palace as a desperate girl. Today, she's fleeing again, and she knows. This time, she probably can't come back. The empire I told her was dying, it just flatlined. But here's the part that made my chest tight. On the escape route, someone stumbled in front of the carriage and nearly got shot by the guards. My father, Lu Qishan, covered in soot, eyes red from a night of crying over fake ashes at a mass grave, running through a war zone to reach the Empress. Your Majesty, forgive my late arrival. Jinxia stared at him like she was seeing a ghost. Lu Qishan? What are you doing here? My house is in the North District. I heard fighting, saw fires, recognized a military coup when I saw one. So I ran here to protect you. This man, he thinks his entire family just burned to death. He spent all night weeping at a graveyard. And instead of collapsing, running, or seeking revenge, his first instinct was to sprint through a battlefield to protect the Empress who got his family killed. Jinxia's eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry. If I hadn't promoted you, your family would still. It's not your fault, Your Majesty. It's the new party's fault. Between them and me, only one side survives. Ma Sanbao, who has trash-talked me for 5 solid years, looked at my father and thought, the son might be a traitor, but the father is the real deal. Yeah, old man. Where do you think I got it from? They pulled my dad into the carriage. He sat on the very edge near the door, half his butt hanging off, too respectful to sit properly in the imperial vehicle. And then, my beautiful, brilliant, 5-year-old daughter looked at my father. Her grandfather she's never met, tilted her little head, and said, "Are you my grandpa? I swear, this kid has a 6th sense for destroying carefully maintained secrets." Jinxia's hand flew over Huan's mouth, like she was defusing a bomb. Shush! Don't talk nonsense, Ma Sanbao groaned internally. Note to self. Never discuss anything about me within a 3-mile radius of my daughter. That child absorbs information like a sponge absorbs water. My father blinked, confused but charmed. Little princess, I'm flattered, but I'm certainly not worthy of being your grandfather. Huan stared at him with those big eyes. Because she knows. She can see my face in his face, clear as day. Jinxiao laughed nervously. She's just very polite. Calls every older person grandpa. Haha. Kids, right? My dad nodded, but something was tickling the back of his brain. This little princess looks remarkably like my daughter Lingji at this age. Especially the eyes. Almost identical. Jinxiao's smile became very fixed. Then she secretly pinched Huan's, but under the blanket. And my daughter, the child of the most wanted rebel in the empire, sitting in a carriage with the Empress who won't admit she's her mother and the grandfather who doesn't know he's a grandfather, looked up with big teary eyes and wailed, "Grandpa? Mommy hit me." The silence in that carriage could have crushed diamonds. Jinxiao's face went through every color on the spectrum. Ma Sanbao suddenly found the ceiling very interesting. My father sat there thinking, why does this child keep calling me grandpa, while sitting 3 feet from his granddaughter and his secret daughter-in-law the Empress? Somewhere in Bailiang, I sneezed. I don't know why, but I had this sudden, overwhelming feeling that my daughter was committing acts of psychological warfare against her own mother and winning. That's my girl. The reports were coming in fragments now. Liu Su's messengers arriving every hour, each one looking more exhausted than the last. Inside the carriage, my daughter had completely blown her cover, and she didn't care one bit. "Are you my grandpa?" she asked, staring at my father with those big eyes. Jinxia slapped her hand over Huan's mouth so fast, it created a sonic boom. "She calls everyone grandpa. Kids, you know? Haha. So random." My dad, oblivious, picked her up and gave her life advice about stranger danger. Because that's what Liu family men do. Someone asks for a hug, we deliver a lecture on personal safety first. "From now on, you'll be her teacher," Jinxia declared. My dad's eyes went soft as butter. Huan kissed his cheek and squealed. Why? Grandpa is holding me, my father, holding my daughter, neither one knowing the truth. Both instantly bonded by pure Liu family DNA magnetism. Ma Sanbao was seething in the corner. I raised that little monster for 5 years. Wiped her butt, fed her, lost sleep. And one sentence from Liu Qishan, and she loves him more than me. First Liu Yuan steals the Empress. Now his father steals the princess. This family is nothing but thieves. Accurate, Ma Sanbao. Completely accurate. But the warm, fuzzy moment lasted about 3 minutes. Because 5,000 White Tiger soldiers appeared between them and the West Gate. Prince Duan had left the West Gate open as their escape route, while he held the East Gate as bait. But the new party was smarter than expected. Someone leaked the plan. The escape route was compromised. Zhao Ji, my student, the kid who used to hide behind everyone, the boy who cried when I yelled at him, looked at the army blocking his sister's escape and made a decision. Imperial guards, follow me. Clear a path for the Empress. He kicked his horse and charged 5,000 soldiers. First one in. No hesitation. Jinxia screamed. Xiao Jie. He turned around, gave her one smile. The kind of smile that says, I finally became someone worth being, and disappeared into the enemy. My student, 20 years old, riding into certain death so his sister could live. Huan was sobbing. Uncle, Peach and the shadow guards dove in after him. The first wave hit the enemy shields and bounced. The White Tigers had been prepared. This was a trap. Grape, still wounded, still barely able to walk, made her move. Your Majesty, take off the dragon robe. Hide in another carriage. I'll wear the robe and draw them away. And oh, you'll die. I can handle death. I can't handle losing you. Grape pulled a spare dragon robe from a chest. She'd packed one. The insane woman had planned for this. Threw it over her arrow-wounded body, jumped onto a decoy carriage, and screamed. Soldiers, charge. Every arrow in the battlefield turned toward the woman in the dragon robe. Grape, Jinxia broke. Ma Sanbao dragged the Empress into a plain carriage. The driver whipped the horses and they veered into the side streets. Behind them, Grape was fighting in a dragon robe, bleeding from reopened wounds, drawing every enemy soldier toward herself like a human lightning rod. Zhao Ji was somewhere in the melee, probably already, no? Don't think about it. The carriage zigzagged through alleys. Enemies kept appearing from side streets, but something kept taking them out. Soldiers would charge from a corner and just drop. Explosions. Silent bullets. Bodies crumpling without explanation. Jinxiao finally understood. It's Lu Yuan's people. Ma Sanbao perked up. We're saved. Then he whined. Why didn't they help sooner? Jinxiao went quiet. Because she'd figured it out. Liu Su's team wasn't protecting her. They were protecting my father, who happened to be sitting in the same carriage. She was just getting the benefit of being near a Lu family member. And then the thought that actually hurt her. If they find out I'm the Empress, would they drag me to Lu Yuan? Would he hate me even more when he sees my face? She's fleeing a burning capital, surrounded by death. And her biggest fear isn't the army behind her. It's whether I'd be disgusted by her. Woman, I sent 50 elite soldiers to follow you across a continent. I funded your treasury. My father is literally sitting next to you teaching your daughter life lessons. At what point does Dogman hates you? Stop being a reasonable theory. The carriage burst through the north gate. They were out. We made it. Ma Sanbao nearly fainted with relief. Jinxia stared back at the city. Smoke rising. Sounds of battle echoing. Somewhere inside, Prince Duan, fighting to the death. Grape, wearing her robe, bleeding for her. Zhao Ji, my student, charging into the impossible. Peach, swinging her sword until her arms gave out. Slow down. Jinxia banged on the carriage wall. We have to wait for them. The driver ignored her and went faster. That's an order, Your Majesty, we're not safe yet. The commander will bring them to the rendezvous point. Jinxia's fist hit the wall so hard the wood cracked. She'd escaped. But at what cost? Back in Bailiang, I sat at my desk, staring at the latest message from Liu Su. For words. Empress escaped. Casualties heavy. I closed my eyes. My father is with them. My daughter is with them. Jinxia is alive. That's what matters. Everything else, the empire, the capital, the throne, can burn. But the people who made it burn? They won't. I got word that Jinxia and everyone made it out alive. Grape, Zhao Ji, Peach, all bloodied, all breathing. Prince Duan stayed behind to hold the line. Brave man. Stupid, but brave. The Lu family specialty. My dad is with them, still not knowing he's been holding his own granddaughter for hours. Huan keeps calling him grandpa, and Jinxia keeps slapping her, but to shut her up. The world's worst-kept secret, maintained by a 5-year-old with zero filter. But I couldn't dwell on that, because I had bigger problems knocking on my door. Both empires decided to throw a tantrum over the 2 diplomats I shot. The Xia Emperor screamed, Lu Yuan will pay, and sent 70,000 cavalry to reinforce Xia Pass. Combined with existing troops, 300,000 soldiers. The Scenery Emperor sent a royal decree calling me ungrateful and dishonest, and dispatched 60,000 more cavalry. Combined total, another massive army. 2 empires. 60,000 troops between them. If they joined forces, 600,000 soldiers pointed at little old me. You know what? If I had 600,000 soldiers, I'd tell everyone I had 2 million. These people don't know how to bluff. But first things first, I had to look good for today's negotiations. Luo Bing, my tailor, helped me into my brand new prefect's crimson robe. Her soft white hands smoothed the fabric while her bedroom eyes did that thing where they pretend to look at the clothes but are actually scanning everything under the clothes. You look so handsome, my lord. I checked the mirror. Yeah, I do. I turned to my 2 captive princesses. Ladies, how do I look? Xia Ning, wearing a JK-made outfit with flesh-colored stockings exactly as I ordered. Gij has always been the most handsome man in Ninger's heart. Li Wuyo, stuffed into a pink bunny girl costume with black stockings, her curves threatening to destroy the fabric. Only Lu Lang can keep Wuyo awake all night. Half a month of captivity, and these 2 have gone from demanding war reparations to competitive flirting in cosplay outfits. Stockholm Syndrome speedrun, world record. Red Ant stood in the corner clutching her horse-cleaving saber, watching them like a hawk guarding a hen from foxes. Every time they got too close, she'd shift her grip on the blade. Subtle. Effective. On my way out, I passed Yeshin and Wusun, the barbarian princes. They were on their knees scrubbing my courtyard. The castration had healed nicely, apparently. They could walk, lift heavy things, and most importantly, they could kneel. Good morning, my lord. They squeaked in voices noticeably higher than before. I didn't even glance at them. I arrived at Star Terrace for the big meeting. 2 of the most powerful men in the world were waiting for me. Fang Jinghe, Prime Minister of the Scenery Empire. Second most powerful man in his nation. Li Quniong, the River Xia King, royal uncle of the Xia Empire. Military legend. These men had the guts to walk into My City for negotiations. I respect that. Truly. Takes massive courage to enter the dragon's den. Sorry I'm late. Traffic was terrible. I strolled in, sat in the big chair, and tossed each of them a pack of My brand cigarettes. Then I pulled one out for myself. Xia Ning dropped to her knees and lit it for me with My lighter. Li Wuyo knelt on the other side, holding an ashtray at the perfect angle for me to flick ash. Two foreign princesses, on their knees, in costume, serving me cigarettes in front of their own country's top diplomats. The room temperature dropped 30 degrees. Fang Jinghe's eyes nearly exploded. Princess, you are the pride of the Scenery Empire. How can you kneel to this? He slammed the table. Lu Yuan, you go too far. Li Quniong was vibrating with rage. Princess, stand up. How dare he make you? He turned to me. Lu Yuan, how dare you humiliate the Xia princess? I took a long, slow drag. Exhaled toward the ceiling. Let the smoke curl upward while two of the most powerful men alive turned purple with fury. Gentlemen, I said, smiling. Would you like to try the cigarettes? They're really quite good. Gentlemen, you're both getting up there in years. Watch your blood pressure. I patted Xia Ning's rear end. A nice solid pat. Tell them, Princess, are you here voluntarily? She winced from the sting, but actually pushed her butt up higher. Prime Minister Fang, I'm here of my own free will. Don't blame Gidge. Fang Jinghe's brain broke. His country's crown princess, in a maid costume, getting spanked by a county lord, and defending him. This was not in the diplomatic handbook. Princess, don't be afraid. I brought 800,000 soldiers. If this man has harmed you, I will flatten this city. Relax, relax. Here, let me have the Xia princess light your cigarette. Go on, bunny girl. I tugged the little cotton ball tail on Li Wuyo's bunny suit. She shuffled over to the prime minister of a rival empire, hands trembling, lit a cigarette, and stuck it in his mouth. Then she scurried back and knelt beside me, holding my ashtray. Fang Jinghe stood there with a lit cigarette in his mouth, put there by the enemy nation's princess dressed as a rabbit. His brain was processing approximately 17 diplomatic violations simultaneously. Li Quniong looked like he was chewing broken glass. But he couldn't do anything because my soldiers had guns pointed at every corner of the room. See? Everyone's getting along. Xia Ning, go light one for the River Xia King too. Xia Ning shuffled over like a beaten puppy, lit Li Tsunyong's cigarette, then knelt back beside me and started massaging my leg. Two princesses, two rival empires, both on their knees serving me while their top diplomats watched helplessly. The entire room went silent. Both delegations realized the pattern. The angrier they got, the more I humiliated their princesses. Escalation only hurt them. Fang Jinghe's cigarette suddenly tasted like ashes and defeat. Now then, I said, snapping my fingers. Let's negotiate. Old Chow handed each side a compensation agreement. These are our terms. We suggest you don't be ungrateful. A scenery diplomat lost it. This is outrageous. They have zero sincerity. Fang Jinghe read the terms in silence. He wanted to explode. But from the moment he walked through my city gates, he'd seen the truth with his own eyes. The streets, the technology, the military discipline. This wasn't a county anymore. This was a power, equal to his own empire. Maybe stronger. Lord Lu. It's Prefect Lu, Old Chow corrected. Fang Jinghe's eye twitched. A prefect. He doesn't even bow to princes back home. But here he is, getting corrected on titles by an advisor while a princess clips my toenails. Oh yeah, Li Wuyo had pulled out a nail clipper and was grooming my fingers right there at the negotiation table, just to add that extra layer of disrespect. Prefect Lu, Fang Jinghe ground out. Our two nations have cooperated for years. Our emperor offered you his daughter, and you killed our diplomat and demand we pay? I flicked my cigarette ash. Friendship is between equals, not charity cases. Your General Pashan attacked my city. I spared him. That was generous. I warned you. Anyone who shelters my barbarian enemies is my enemy. You ignored me. Your diplomats threatened to burn my county. So I shot them. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I stretched out my hand. Li Wuyo produced the nail clipper and started trimming my nails while I continued talking. Both ambassadors' nostrils flared so wide you could park carriages in them. Here's the thing, I continued. This isn't personal. It's business. You both spent millions at my trade conference. If we go to war, all those investments go poof. Your merchants lose money. Your nobles lose income. Your emperors lose face and treasure. I'm offering you a deal. Take it, and everyone profits. Reject it, and I crack open both your border fortresses like walnuts. Your choice. Li Quniong tried one last play. Become the Xia Emperor's son-in-law, and all is forgiven. You'd get Bailiang as an official fief. Your emperor isn't qualified to be my father-in-law. I said that already. Were you not listening? Then we have nothing to discuss. Li Quniong's voice went ice cold. Princess, be patient. When our armies arrive, I will make Lu Yuan kneel before you and beg for mercy. And I, Fang Jing has stood, will personally watch our forces flatten this city and rescue our princess. I stood up too. Smiled. Stretched. Xia Yan, show our guests out. Both princesses panicked. Prime Minister, you can't go to war. Xia Ning grabbed Fang's sleeve. Granduncle, please don't fight Bailiang. Li Wuyo was practically crying. Princess, he left us no choice. Fang Jing has shook her off. Our armies will come. Li Tsunyong's parting words echoed through the hall. I will make him kneel before you, princess. On my honor. I watched them storm out and lit another cigarette. Kneel? Me? Buddy, I've got 30,000 soldiers who eat your elite cavalry for breakfast. I've got rifles your world hasn't invented yet. I've got grenades, incendiary weapons, and a sniper corps that can take your head off from a mile away. You bring your 800,000. I'll bring my 30,000. And we'll see who kneels. I blew a smoke ring toward the ceiling and turned to old Chow. So, how's the second city construction going? Ahead of schedule, boss. Good. Speed it up more. We've got company coming. I let them walk. Both of them. Fang Jinghe with his sleeve-swishing dramatic exit. Li Quniong with his, I'll make you kneel, tough guy routine. I could have shot them both. 2 bullets. 2 fewer problems. But even I have some standards. Kill negotiators, and nobody ever comes to talk again. Then it's war forever. And while I'm confident, I'm not stupid. Li Wuyo tugged my sleeve. Lu Lang, my granduncle is old. Please don't take it personally. Li Quniong heard that, and his face looked like he swallowed a porcupine. His own grandniece, apologizing for him to the enemy. Don't worry, I said. When I capture him, he can keep Yexian and Wusun company. They could use friends. After they left, I called an emergency war council. Every brigade commander in the room. Intel from Liu Su's team. The first wave of refugees is almost here. We need to create a safe, stable environment for them. Which means I need you to destroy 2 Empire's armies before the refugees arrive. Can you do it? Infantry Brigade, ready. Wang Dabiao slammed the table. Saber Brigade, ready. Zheng Lujin was already standing. Cavalry Brigade, ready. These maniacs. I tell them we're facing potentially 800,000 soldiers with 35,000, and they start arguing about who gets to keep the prisoners of war. When we capture them, we have to draft them into our military. Sending them to construction is a waste. After this, we expand to 100,000 troops and crush all 3 empires. I love these idiots. But I need to be honest with myself. A prolonged war would kill us. Not because of fighting, because of logistics. Ammunition runs out. Food runs out. 35,000 stomachs are manageable. 800,000 enemies grinding you down for months? That's math even I can't beat. So we don't play their game. We play mine. Tonight, I slam my fist on the table. We hit the Xia Pass. From behind. We take their peach before they even know we're in the orchard. Every eye in the room went wide. Then every mouth grinned. Meanwhile, Li Quniong, the undefeated war god, arrived back at Xia Pass, tired and cranky. 60 years old, still eats 2 pounds of meat per meal. Respect for the appetite, not for the strategy. General Qin greeted him. How'd negotiations go? That arrogant brat refused everything. Wouldn't release the princess. Demanded we pay him. Does he think we're pushovers? Just because he beat some barbarians. Li Quniong laid out the plan. 3 days to build siege equipment. Joint attack with the Scenery Empire. Split the loot 50-50. Qin nodded, then said something that made me smile when I read the report. But sir, what if Bailiang attacks US first? Their weapons are terrifyingly powerful. Li Quniong scoffed. This is the Xia Pass. one of the greatest fortresses in the empire. Unless Baeliang's soldiers can fly, they're not getting over these walls. Chen laughed. Fly? Huh. If Lu Yuan could do that, we might as well surrender. Ho ho ho. Funny joke, boys. Really funny. Up on the walls that night, two freezing guards were huddled together, complaining about the cold. Winter came early again, even colder than last year. The walls are covered in ice. One guard pulled out a scarf. Got this from a Baeliang trader. 500 copper coins for a piece of cloth. Highway robbery. At least you have a scarf. I can't even afford 2 sips of liquor on our salary. Think they'll attack tonight? In this cold? With hundreds of thousands of us here? They'd have to be suicidal. The guard yawned. Unless they can fly up here, we're fine. The other guards laughed. And high above their heads, invisible in the black winter sky, several enormous shapes drifted silently over the Xia Pass. No engine noise. No torchlight. No warning. Just shadows against the stars, gliding over the impenetrable fortress like ghosts. What are they? Oh, just something I've been building in my R&D department for the past 2 years. A little project I sank a few million taels into. Something that every single person in this world, from emperors to generals to frozen guards on walls, has declared categorically impossible. Flight. Li Quniong said, unless they can fly. Chen said, if he could fly, we'd surrender. The guard said, unless they fly up here. 3 different people. Same joke. Same punchline. And right now, my punchline is floating 200 meters above their heads, carrying enough soldiers and explosives to turn their impenetrable fortress into the world's most expensive campfire. I told you, gentlemen. 30,000 versus 800,000. Advantage, me. I was sitting in my temporary command tent at Mount Tai County, my shiny new second city, watching reports come in. Sir, Airship Squad 1 successfully airborne. Sir, Airship Squad 2 successfully airborne. I nodded. Keep me updated. Inside the tent, my brigade commanders were vibrating like over-caffeinated squirrels. Can we go yet? Wang Dabiao was bouncing in his seat. Calm down. The wind is from the north tonight. It'll push the airships to Xia Pass faster. Let them fly for a bit. Sir, can the airships really fly that far? Guillermo asked nervously. Also, maybe the airship corps should be under the cavalry brigade. Over my dead body, Wang Dabiao exploded. Airships belong to infantry. You're delusional, Wang Matzi. Here we go again. My commanders would fight over a sandwich if I put it in the middle of the table. I slammed my fist down. Nobody gets the airship corps. It's becoming its own independent brigade. Then I explained the reality. These airships are filled with hydrogen gas. One spark and the whole thing becomes a fireball. Every soldier who goes up does so knowing they might not come down. This isn't a toy. It's a flying bomb that happens to carry passengers. Everyone's necks retracted into their collars like turtles. So, it kills the enemy and us, only if something goes wrong. And we're going to make sure nothing goes wrong. Now, you might be wondering, Lu Yuan, how did you build airships in an ancient world? 2 words, electrolysis, baby. I have electricity in Baeliang. Electricity plus water equals hydrogen and oxygen. That's middle school chemistry. Middle school. Every 14-year-old in my old world learned this. But here, I might as well be performing miracles. Why not hot air balloons? Can't steer them properly. Fire is visible from miles away at night. Low carrying capacity. And worst of all, anyone can copy a hot air balloon. But without understanding electrolysis, nobody's replicating my hydrogen extraction. Trade secrets, baby. Each airship, 63 meters long, 6 meters in diameter. Framework of wooden ribs and tension wires, covered in waterproof fabric. No engine. My soldiers pedal a mechanical propulsion system like the world's most terrifying bicycle. Carries 7,000 pounds, including a 10-person crew with plenty of room left for cargo. And tonight's cargo? Molotov cocktails and dynamite. Why not fancy incendiary weapons? Because white phosphorus is rare and expensive in Baeliang. But glass bottles full of flammable liquid? Cheap. Effective. And when you're dropping them from 200 meters in the sky onto someone's grain supply, precision is optional. Just aim for the ground, and you're golden. Move out, I said, checking the time. I'll wait here for your victory. Every commander knelt. We will not disappoint you, Chief. I watched them ride into the darkness with 29,000 soldiers, leaving me with 1,500 guards and a cigarette. Risky? Absolutely. But fortune favors the crazy. Meanwhile, at Xia Pass, General Chun dragged himself home after a long day of building siege equipment. His wife rubbed his shoulders. Why pick a fight with Bailiang? Remember what happened to the barbarians? To the Scenery Empire? When has anyone beaten Lu Yuan? Woman, you don't understand military matters. I understand that every time you mess with that man, you come home with fewer soldiers and more gray hair. Chin's eye twitched because she was right, but he wasn't about to admit it. In 3 days, Bailiang is gone, and I'll bring you a whole wagon of their perfume. Really? She instantly forgot all her concerns. Oh, honey, you're so tired. Let me massage your... Bang, bang, bang on the door. General, emergency. The grain storage is on fire. It's out of control. The River Xia King is already there. Chin's soul temporarily left his body. What? There were guards. How did it catch fire? Sir, they said. The fire fell from the sky. The sky? What? Did God drop a match? If fire fell from heaven, why didn't it land on those idiots who were supposed to be watching? He galloped to the granary and found a wall of flame stretching as far as he could see. Soldiers running with buckets. Completely pointless. You don't fight a hydrogen-accelerated incendiary attack with buckets. It's all burning. Every warehouse. We're finished. Chin's legs buckled. Li Quniong was already there, purple with rage. Chun, I told you to guard the grain. How do I explain this to the emperor? He whipped Chin across the back. But what's a whip going to fix? The grain was charcoal. And then, because I believe in thoroughness, the explosion started. My airship crews had moved from the granaries to the military camps. Dynamite bundles raining from the sky like the angriest hailstorm in history. Boom, boom, boom. Li Quniong and Chun stood there, ears ringing, watching their carefully assembled invasion force literally blow up around them. 300,000 soldiers. Mountains of siege equipment. Enough food for a 6-month campaign. All gone in one night. Because they said, unless he can fly, and I can fly. Remember, boys, when you tell the universe something is impossible, the universe sends a guy from another world who paid attention in chemistry class. Back in my tent, I opened a new page and started writing Chapter 5 of Romance of the Three Kingdoms. The wind carried the distant smell of smoke from the south. I smiled and kept writing. My airship crews delivered the performance of a lifetime. From what my commanders reported, the moment the first Molotov cocktail dropped from the sky and exploded on the grain warehouses, the entire Xia Pass went from sleeping peacefully to what in the actual. Li Quniong was standing there watching his grain burn when the explosion started. Boom, 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 coming from every direction. Different warehouses, different camps, all at once. It must be infiltrators, Chin screamed. Bailiang people. They snuck in. Snuck I in? This is the heart of Xia Pass. How would they? Boom. An explosion ripped apart the ground 20 meters from Li Quniong. The shockwave threw the undefeated war god flat on his back like a turtle. When he looked up, half the people who'd been standing next to him were lying in pieces. Chun, face burned by the blast wave, suddenly had a revelation. He looked up. They're not on the ground. They're in the sky. He pointed at the darkness above. And there, silhouetted against the fire-lit clouds, were the massive outlines of my airships. Drifting silently. Dropping hell. Li Quniong looked up, and his brain short-circuited. He remembered his own words from that afternoon. Unless they can fly over the walls, well. Surprise, old man. We fly. I'm told his face went through denial, confusion, terror, and existential crisis in about 4 seconds flat. 60 years of military experience, dozens of victories, a lifetime of understanding how war works. All of it shattered by the sight of objects that shouldn't exist, floating above his impenetrable fortress, casually raining fire on everything he owned. This is impossible, he screamed at the sky. The sky didn't care. The sky just kept dropping bombs. The entire fortress descended into pure chaos. Soldiers running around in their underwear because the barracks burned before they could dress. Weapons melted. Armor charcoal. Smoke so thick people were choking to death, standing in open air. Li Quniong, to his credit, pulled himself together. Forget the fires. Gather all troops. We can replace grain, but not men. Good instinct. Wrong timing. Because that's when my ground forces arrived. Enemy at the gates. Li Quniong grabbed a sword. No armor, no helmet, just rage and underwear, and charged toward the walls. Perfect. Let them come. I'll kill them myself. But Qin saw the truth before the old man did. The airship bombs had already targeted the gate structures. Boom, boom. The walls shook. Stonework cracked. Then the biggest explosion yet. My demolition teams had planted charges at the base of both the outer and inner gates, while everyone was staring at the sky. The gates blew open like paper doors in a hurricane. And through the smoke, illuminated by the fires they'd caused, my cavalry charged through. Both gates, outer wall and inner wall, two defensive lines that had stood for 200 years, breached in one night. The walls are broken. They're inside. The Bailiang people are demons. They can fly, run, soldiers scattered like roaches when you turn on the lights. Half-naked, unarmed, terrified men running in every direction. The psychological damage was worse than the physical damage. They'd been told nobody could break these walls. They'd been told flight was impossible. In 1 hour, both certainties were destroyed. But then something happened that I didn't expect, and when I read it in the report, I put down my pen and sat quietly for a long time. General Chun grabbed a fleeing officer by the collar. The man was screaming, "We have to run." Chun looked at him and said, "I am Chun Yuan, General of the Northern Guard. If I die on horseback. I die on the battlefield." He drew his horse-cleaving saber. Then he said something that punched me right in the chest. I heard Lu Yuan once told his soldiers, "Even if you can't beat the enemy, you face them. Even if you can't kill them, you bite off a piece of their flesh. Even when you're outmatched, you draw your sword." He was quoting me, my speech to my own troops, the words I used to build the fighting spirit of Bailiang's army. And now a man I was about to defeat was using my words to find his courage. "Soldiers, charge with me." They charged, half-dressed, outgunned, knowing they would lose, knowing they would probably die. But they charged anyway, because even the enemy can have honor. Chen Yuan wasn't my friend. He wasn't my ally. He was a man defending his home with a sword and a prayer, using courage he'd learned from listening to my speeches. I respected that. I genuinely respected that. But respect doesn't stop wars. My cavalry met his charge head-on, and the result was exactly what you'd expect when trained, armored, rifle-equipped heavy cavalry hits half-naked men with borrowed swords in a burning fortress. Back in my tent, I stared at the ceiling for a long time after reading the report. Then I wrote one line in my journal. The bravest man I fought today was fighting for the wrong side. May he find peace. Then I turned the page and started planning the assault on the Scenery Empire's fortress. One down, one to go. My boys gave me the full play-by-play, and I have to say, this was my masterpiece. Up on the walls, Li Quniong was screaming, "Rocks, logs, throw everything down, the undefeated war god. 60 years of victories. Never lost a battle." And tonight, his record shattered along with his fortress gates. He rallied his pride and joy, the Iron Sparrowhawks, the most elite cavalry in all 3 empires, the legendary unbeatable unit. He managed to scrape together 3,000 of them in the chaos. Charge. They charged into Zhang Liujin's saber brigade. One swing. The saber cut through armor, through rider, through horse. 2 halves of a man sliding apart in opposite directions. Like cutting butter with a blowtorch. My soldiers were singing while they killed. That's the part that broke them. Mighty Bailiang, forever strong. Blood unspent, war unending. Mighty Bailiang, show our power. Blood on our armor. No regrets in death. 30,000 voices. In perfect unison, marching through a burning fortress, singing their hearts out while cutting down everything in their path. The Xia soldiers just stopped. Their feet wouldn't move. Their hands wouldn't lift. They'd never felt pressure like this. 200 years of peace had made them soft. My soldiers trained every single day for 5 years in conditions that would break special forces. The difference wasn't just weapons, it was spirit. Chen Yuan screamed, "Cowards! Charge!" Nobody charged. Guo Ermao's heavy cavalry punched through the main avenue like a battering ram through wet cardboard. Wang Dabiao's infantry swept every district clean. My soldiers climbed the walls and literally threw Xia soldiers off the top. 6-meter drops. Broken bones. Shattered spines. Li Tsunyong's precious Iron Sparrowhawks. The ones he bragged about. The ones he was going to use to make me kneel. scattered like startled chickens. The greatest cavalry in the world, running from infantry. Because when infantry can cut your horse in half with one swing, cavalry advantages become irrelevant. By dawn, my flag flew over Xia Pass. 200 years of history, broken in one night, by a county lord with airships and a grudge. Meanwhile, at Scenery Pass, Prime Minister Fang Jinghe was having the worst morning of his life without knowing it yet. He woke up to thunder. Is it raining? Winter thunder? That's actually good news. Bailiang's weapons are weak against water. Heaven is helping us, his servant. Sir, it's not raining. Fang squinted toward the horizon. Why is the sky glowing over there? That's the Xia Pass direction, isn't it? Did someone anger the heavens? Sir, it looks like dawn over there, but it's the wrong direction for sunrise. That glow, dear Prime Minister, is 300,000 soldiers' worth of supplies burning to ashes. That thunder is my dynamite. And that early dawn is the largest bonfire in military history. Then General Wang Bai rushed in looking like he'd seen his own funeral. Sir, Xia Pass has fallen. I'm sorry, what? Bailiang attacked. The fortress is breached. Fires everywhere. They're already inside. Fang Jinghe inhaled so hard, he nearly swallowed his own tongue. That's impossible. Li Quniong is there, the greatest general alive. Sir, I've already mobilized everyone. Lu Yuan loves surprise attacks. He might come for us next. He wouldn't dare fight on two fronts. Wang Bai gave him a look that said, have you met this man? There's nothing he wouldn't dare, sir. Fang Jinghe ran to the walls. Every single soldier in Scenery Pass was already up there. Rocks ready. Logs ready. Boiling excrement ready. Crossbows loaded. Eyes wide. Hands shaking. Reports started flooding in. Bailiang flag raised over Xia Pass. Bailiang reinforcements spotted on the road. Bailiang forces heading towards Scenery Pass. Fang Jinghe clenched his jaw. Nobody sleeps. We hold this wall, or we die. And here's the beautiful part. The part that made me laugh until I cried. He didn't even notice that his attitude had completely flipped. Yesterday, I'll flatten Bailiang. Today, please God, don't let them flatten me. From conqueror to defender in 12 hours. That's what one night of airship warfare does to a man's confidence. 300,000 scenery soldiers stood on those walls all night. Freezing, terrified, staring into the darkness, waiting for the attack. Dawn came. No attack. Morning came. No attack. They stood there until the sun was fully up, eyes bloodshot, legs cramping, nerves completely fried. And then the scouts came back. Sir, there's nobody coming. What? Bailiang's forces are all at Xia Pass. They never sent anyone toward us. Fang Jinghe stood on the wall, frozen, processing the information. I'd fake the advance towards Scenery Pass. Send a handful of scouts to be spotted, heading their direction. Made them think a two-front attack was coming. And while 300,000 scenery soldiers spent all night not sleeping, not eating, standing in the freezing cold waiting for an attack that would never come, my actual army was comfortably mopping up Xia Pass without a single scenery soldier interfering. I made 300,000 soldiers defeat themselves without firing a single shot at them. They exhausted their own troops, burned their own morale, and wasted an entire night, all because I sent a few guys on horses to ride in their general direction. The look on Fang Jinghe's face when he realized he'd been played? I'd pay 1,000,000 taels to have seen it. One fortress conquered. One fortress psychologically destroyed. Total Bailiang casualties, minimal. I finished my cigarette, closed my notebook, and smiled. Old Chow, draft the new compensation terms. Higher than before, boss? Much higher. They've earned the premium. Fang Jinghe figured out he'd been played and almost had an aneurysm. That little thief tricked me. His General Wang Bai tried to talk him into attacking while my forces were exhausted from taking Xia Pass. Smart thinking. Wrong assumption. But these two started doing the funniest political dance I've ever heard of. Wang Bai, we should attack now, while they're weak. Fang Jinghe, great idea. You do it, Wang Bai. I was just making a suggestion. You should decide, Fang Jinghe. The Emperor said I should listen to you, Wang Bai. I've thought about it more, and actually we should wait. Two of the most powerful men in the scenery empire, playing hot potato with military responsibility, like children refusing to touch a dead frog. Neither one wanted to be the guy who ordered the attack that failed against Lu Yuan. Because here's the thing everyone's figured out by now. Attacking me has a perfect track record of going catastrophically wrong for the attacker. Fang Jinghe saw what happened to the barbarians. He saw what happened to Xia Pass. He looked at his 300,000 soldiers, who'd been peacetime parade troops for 200 years and thought, do I really want to bet my career on these guys? He stormed off. Wang Bai didn't move a muscle. Nobody attacked. Exactly as I planned. I rode into Xia Pass the next morning, and what a beautiful morning it was. My commanders lined both sides of the main road like it was a victory parade, each one practically vibrating with excitement to give their report. Chief. Infantry Brigade reporting. 7,800 enemy killed, 34,000 captured. Chief. Saber Brigade reporting. 8,400 killed, 35,600 captured. Chief. Cavalry Brigade. 13,200 killed, 53,000 captured. One by one, every unit rattled off numbers that would make an accountant weep with joy. I rode through on horseback, surveying my new acquisition like a landlord inspecting property. 500,000 people lived in and around Xia Pass. Military families going back generations. A city unto itself. And now? Mine. The prisoners had been stripped to their underwear, shivering in the winter wind. At the front, kneeling buck naked, were Li Quniong and Chen Yuan. The undefeated war god looked up at me with murder in his eyes. Lu Yuan. A warrior can be killed, but not humiliated. Just E&E me. Chen Yuan spat. Sneak attacks aren't honorable. Fight like a real man. Then several other generals joined the chorus of creative insults directed at me. Eagle, I didn't even wait for my permission. He grabbed his blood-crusted mace, walked up, and splattered 3 generals' heads like watermelons at a carnival. Bonk. 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 Warm brains splashed across Li Tsunyong's and Chen Yuan's faces. The remaining generals went very quiet very fast. I gestured for Eagle Eye to stop. He stepped back, disappointed, licking brain matter off his glove. That man needs a hobby. I dismounted, walked up to the 2 leaders, pulled out 2 cigarettes, put one in each of their mouths. Lit both. War is deception, I said. Only donkeys fight head-on. Li Tsunyong's rage evaporated. He's a general. He knows this. He'd been saying the same thing for 60 years. Getting outsmarted by his own philosophy just hit different. I underestimated you, he said quietly. I've never admired anyone in my life. You're the first. Then he asked the question that was eating him alive. Your soldiers, they really were in the sky? I nodded. His face did something between laughing and crying. 60 years of warfare, and he'd just been beaten by something he couldn't have imagined in his wildest dreams. Chen Yuan was still barking. Even if you took Xia Pass, you can't beat the whole empire. 1 million soldiers, hundreds of thousands of cavalry. You lost. And you're still yapping. What's the point? I flicked ash and stood up. Then I turned to the masses of prisoners and raised my voice. Want to live? Here's your chance. Each of you, 1 cut on these 2 leaders. Do that, and you join Bailiang. You get the same life my citizens have. Clean streets. Full bellies. Schools for your kids. Medicine when you're sick. Lu Yuan. You're despicable, Chen Yuan screamed, looking at his own soldiers. Don't listen to him, but I could see it in their eyes. They'd walked through my city as prisoners. They'd seen how Bailiang people live. They'd smelled real food, seen electric lights, watched children playing in clean parks. And then they'd looked back at their own lives. Underpaid, underfed, freezing on walls, fighting wars for emperors who'd never learned their names. Li Quniong stared at me with something new in his expression. Not anger, not hatred, fear, because he recognized what I was. Not a general, not a politician, not even a rebel, an empire builder. Lu Yuan, he said slowly. What do you actually want? Do you really intend to fight the Xia Empire to the death? I took a long drag and looked at the burning horizon. What do I want? I want my daughter safe. I want my wife to stop calling me dogman. I want my parents comfortable. I want my people fed and free. And if the world won't give me that peacefully, then I'll take it. But I didn't say any of that. Instead, I smiled and blew a smoke ring. Depends entirely on your emperor's next move. What do I want? You're looking at it. I gestured at everything around me. You're my war trophies. This fortress is my war trophy. The gift shop is my war trophy. Chen Yuan's face went purple. You can't keep Xia Pass. Do you know what happens when you steal from the Xia Empire? I picked my ear. Dude, Are you still talking? Your side came to my house looking for trouble. I'm a businessman. I believe in peace. You came at me with 600,000 soldiers because I shot one eunuch and one diplomat who threatened to burn my home. And now that you lost, you want to lecture me about consequences? Oh, and by the way, I'm taking scenery past too. 2 border fortresses, plus my original city. 3 impregnable strongholds forming a perfect defensive triangle around Baelyang. Just thinking about it made me feel warm and fuzzy inside. And I wouldn't even need to build new walls, just renovate. Li Quniong tried one more angle. Is this the Qian Empire's doing? Are you acting on their orders? I am me. The Empire is the Empire. Don't mix us up. Then I offered him a job. Old Li, you've got skills. How about joining my team? Led my armies. He closed his eyes. Kill me. Li Quniong dies fighting. He does not surrender. Respect. Genuine respect. I had him dragged away alive because men like that are too rare to waste. Then I turned to the real audience. Not the generals. The soldiers. The regular guys. The military households who'd been chained to this fortress for 200 years, generation after generation, never allowed to leave, never allowed to rise. Join Baelyang Prefecture. No grain taxes. No forced labor. Everyone gets farmland. Everyone gets food. Everyone gets a new house and new clothes. Your children? They go to school. And after school, they have careers. Real futures. Not more wall guarding. I let that sink in. Then I went for the throat. You've been military households for 200 years. When the empire was in danger, your ancestors bled for it. But when things were good, did anyone share the good times with you? The nobles eat meat. The officials drink wine. And you? You freeze on walls, eating gruel, wearing rags your grandmothers patched together. Why? Because they're born noble and you're born worthless? Because their blood is red and yours is dirt. I raised my fist. I, Lu Yuan, have never believed that. Kings and generals, were they born better than you? That line hit like a thunderbolt. Every single prisoner's head snapped up, eyes wide, breathing fast, hearts pounding, because nobody had ever said that to them before. For 200 years, they'd been told their place was at the bottom. Their fathers accepted it. Their grandfathers accepted it. They accepted it. Until right now. Are you born inferior? Are your children born worthless? How long will you stay numb? I looked at their wives and mothers, standing in the crowd in rough cloth rags, skin cracked from years of hard living, clutching terrified children who'd never owned a toy. Think about your wives. When did they last get a new dress? Think about your stomachs. When did you last taste meat? When did you last get paid? The silence was deafening. If you want to stay in the mud, if you choose to be dirt that everyone walks on, then pretend I never said this. You'll work in Baelyang's labor camps until you die. But if you want to be something, if you want your families to eat well, dress well, live well, if you want your children to have a future, then show me. I threw a sword on the ground. Then I got on my horse. And I waited. The quiet lasted maybe 10 seconds. Then one man stood up. Dirty, scarred, shaking with rage. He walked through the crowd, picked up the sword, and went straight to a kneeling officer. Deputy Commander Zhou, you violated my wife. You beat my parents. You kicked my child. Zhou's eyes went wide. If you kill me, your whole clan. The sword went through his heart before he finished the sentence. Then the man stabbed him again, and again, and again, 30, 40 times, until there was nothing left but ground meat. He jammed the sword into the earth and screamed at the sky. Kings and generals, were they born better than me? In that moment, 200 years of oppression, humiliation, and silence exploded. What's your name? I asked. D. Urgu, sir. Please take me in. You're in? Get this man clothes, food, and bring his family to Baelyang. Report to the military office when you're settled. I tossed him my personal flask of liquor. He took one swig, gasped, and grinned through his tears. Good stuff. Thank you, boss. That was the match. The powder keg went off. I'm done too. Screw the Xia Empire. Screw being a military serf. I want meat. I want a house. I want my kids in school. Kings and generals. Were they born better than us? They surged forward like a tidal wave. Grabbed weapons. Found every officer, every noble, every petty tyrant who'd ever beaten them. Cheated them, starved them, humiliated their families, and turned them into confetti. Several hundred officers became several hundred piles of unrecognizable flesh in about 90 seconds. Qin Yuan was screaming from the sideline, but nobody was listening anymore. His army didn't just surrender, it defected. With enthusiasm. With vengeance. Li Quniong watched the whole thing with his eyes closed. When he opened them, there was something new there. Not anger. Not hatred. Something worse. All. Kings and generals. Were they born better? He whispered. Lu Yuan. You're not a general. You're not even a rebel. You're the most dangerous man alive. One speech. You didn't just defeat my army. You stole their souls. I didn't steal anything, old man. I just told them the truth nobody else would say. That their lives have value. That their children deserve futures. That the accident of birth doesn't determine the ceiling of their existence. And for that truth, they'll follow me through fire. I rode back toward Bailiang with 500,000 new citizens, a conquered fortress, and a sentence ringing in the winter air that would echo across all three empires. Kings and generals. Were they born better than you? The answer, in case anyone's wondering, is no. I stood there watching my commanders descend on those Xia soldiers like bargain hunters at a clearance sale. Join the infantry. 3 taels a month. New house. 10 pounds of meat coupons. 50 pounds of rice. Tea allowance. Free bicycle. Guermao wasn't about to lose. Cavalry pays 5 taels. New house. 15 pounds of meat. 70 pounds of rice. Ge Yarameo, you rich bastard. Leave some for the rest of US. You're all just jealous because cavalry has the budget. My military commanders were running competing recruitment booths in the middle of a conquered fortress. Screaming benefits packages at shell-shocked prisoners of war like car salesmen fighting over a customer who just walked onto the lot. The Xia soldiers had never seen anything like this. Military units bidding for them, with salaries, and meat, and bicycles. They practically trampled each other signing up. Qin Yuan watched his entire army evaporate in real time. It's over. It's completely over. Li Quniong, eyes closed. Lu Yuan's ability to manipulate hearts. It's terrifying. I nodded to myself, pretty satisfied, then had a sudden moment of self-awareness. Wait, am I becoming a rebel warlord? I'm literally standing on conquered territory, recruiting enemy soldiers with promises of meat and bicycles. This is exactly what rebel leaders do in the history books. Oh well, at least I'm the fun kind of rebel. Xia Hongmei reported. Chief, all wounded have been treated. Critical cases transported back to headquarters. I ordered the blown-up gates repaired. All remaining grain collected and inventoried. The airship attack burned 70% of their food supply, but the remaining 30% would feed people for 3 or 4 months. Their old weapons were junk, but junk melts down into perfectly good steel. Bottom line, we were rich. Chief, how do we handle all these new people? New recruits get mixed into veteran units. 3 months of reform training. Anyone who fails gets sent to construction. The ones who refuse to cooperate, let them build walls. And make the civilians help too. People appreciate peace more when they help build it with their own hands. What about scenery pass? They wouldn't attack if you paid them. We digest Xia Pass first, finish Mount Tai County's walls. 3 fortresses, 1 prefecture. Unbreakable. I'd expanded my army to 100,000. With these numbers, I feared exactly nobody. Record every soldier's contributions. When we get home, full ceremony. Promotions, awards, the works. Dismissed, everyone left. The tent went quiet. And the exhaustion hit me like a falling building. 1 full day and night without sleep. I told Red Ann I was going to rest my eyes for a second, and immediately started snoring so loud the tent walls shook. Red Ant draped her cloak over me and stood guard all night. She held my head steady so I wouldn't get a stiff neck from sleeping in a chair. Just stood there until dawn, watching over me. I don't deserve that woman, but I'm too tired to feel guilty right now. Next day, I left 10,000 troops at Xia Pass and marched home. News had already spread. Bailiang Prefecture was in full celebration mode. People in the streets, singing, crying, hugging. They'd just watched their tiny county defeat one of the 3 great empires. 30,000 soldiers conquered a fortress with hundreds of thousands of defenders. Yexian, sweeping my courtyard with his newly soprano voice. One night, they took Xia Pass in one night. Wusun, mopping nearby. The wall stood for 200 years and fell in a few hours. It's over. I could see it in their eyes. Whatever revenge fantasies they'd been nursing. Dying. Fast. If my army just did this with 30,000, what happens at 100,000? There, Mother Tribe reinforcements suddenly didn't seem so reassuring anymore. I let my soldiers lead the parade. They marched first, singing MY Army's anthem, We Soldiers, at the top of their lungs. The civilians joined in. 100,000 voices harmonized, echoing off the buildings. I rode behind them. The hero gets the glory, but the soldiers get the parade. That's how you build loyalty that lasts. In the prison cart, Li Quniong and Chun Yuan stared at the spectacle. A city and its army, singing together. Citizens cheering soldiers by name. Kids running alongside, giving them flowers. Li Quniong whispered, military and civilians as one family. Has the Xia Empire ever had this? No, old man. It hasn't. Because your empire treats soldiers like tools and citizens like wallets. I treat mine like people. That's the whole secret. No trick. No magic. Just basic human decency, scaled to 1,000,000. When I appeared, the city erupted. Long live the boss. Boss, we're so proud of you. I waved and smiled until my arm hurt and my face cramped. Back home, Xiaoning bounced over in her JK outfit. Gidge, let Ninger take off your armor. Congratulations on your glorious victory. Yeshian and Wusin face planted on the ground. Your slave welcomes the master home. I spread my arms and let Xiaoning peel off my armor piece by piece like a medieval valet service. Then Li Wuyo knelt before me, eyes glistening. Lu Lang, the River Xia King, is my granduncle. He's old. Please, can you release him? For my sake. Your face isn't worth that much. Direct hit. She flinched like I'd slapped her. Then what would it take? He works for me. Or he stays in prison. I don't release tigers back into the wild. Killing Li Quniong would make the Xia Empire go full blood feud forever. But if the old man surrenders? That's a propaganda victory worth more than 10 battles. The undefeated war god, joining Bailiang would shake the entire continent's confidence in the old order. Li Wuyo bit her lip. Then let me convince him. Please, I looked at this woman. Princess of a rival empire, wearing a bunny suit, kneeling at my feet, offering to turn her own legendary granduncle into my employee. 6 months ago, she was demanding I accept an imperial decree. Now she's negotiating prisoner transfers in lingerie. I lit a cigarette and smiled. Deal. You have 3 days.